Alrighty, let's go, baby. It's the Sunday night research show of On Back 9 Bets. How are we all doing? Sorry for the late start. You try and just, let me see. I can see fine without these things on it. It messes up my whole freaking situation when, look how it autofocuses when I put my glasses on. It's so frustrating. It's like non-stop autofocusing. I don't know. It bothers me. We'll see how it goes. Maybe there's also stay on, maybe they come off. I've been trying to freaking paste stuff behind the scenes just so that I can make it smooth, and it's just not pasting for me. So we're going to just go with the big boy. That's 1,000 megabytes and holding up tons of memory. So life goes on. Also got the microphone in a totally different position. Those of you that are new, please let me know how it sounds. Let's dive into this bad boy. Also, Jake freaking Knapp, folks. Yeah, we're busting out the $100 bill shirt this week. Any of you guys in the chat hit Jake Knapp? I know we missed the research show last week, but we were looking to get busy with him last week. So that was, you kind of known if you've listened to the show. We were all over Jake Knapp, as always. We like him a lot. Yes, Mitch in the house. We liked Jake Knapp this week. Okay, so this is the Sunday night research show. And as always, we are brought to you by Rotoballer, where you can use code NEW for 30% off. Boom, boom. Jake Knapp time. Let's go, Ryan. What a Sunday sweat, Ryan. Yes, dude. Andy, you guys are hooking up. Nap time. It is. I'm calling him the Sandman. You know, everyone's got the nap stuff going on, but I think the Sandman is the way to go because he puts everyone to sleep, you know, puts them down for a little nap. So that was kind of fun. Hit on nap this week while taking a little nap. DT, my man. Yes. All right. So as you can see here, we've got the Bet the Number model up and running here by the Bet the Number folks over there at Tour Junkies. I've made my little model. We'll dive into this shortly. But before we do that, I want to just pull up some of my course stats from the previous years or whatever, and then we'll dive into what we have signed up for over here. As always, strokes gained approach, very important here, a bit more than tour average. We're going to see, 65% of shots coming from 125 to 200. So that's going to be our main area of expertise this week. I think we want to see what's cooking. Look at my main man, T. What's cooking, Kazi? Happy to see you in the chat as well. All right, so yeah, 125 to 200. That's our range, folks. That's our range. It's not quite the nap range, but it's definitely the range we're looking for. Putting is going to be important, as always. Rough week for your boy, DH. Oh, what's up, Dylan? Yes, I know. It's either you had a good week this week or you really didn't. It's kind of weird that way. Accuracy off the tee, it's like distance and accuracy aren't going to be important, and general strokes gained off the tee not that important this week compared to tour average. I think accuracy a bit more than distance. So we'll pull up the model here shortly. Around the green play, going to be important here. You know, we're seeing green regulation rates of 60-odd%. It's kind of gone up over the last little while. Guys have kind of dialed in their irons on this golf course a bit more than in 2020 and 2019 when it was in the 50s. Now we're seeing strokes. I'm showing you not even the right screen. I hate it when this happens. It shares a specific window. It doesn't share a specific screen. And it drives me freaking nuts. Here we go. Sorry about that. All right. So as you can see here, boom. Approach play, 125 to 200. Very important. Here's the green regulation rates. Kind of sitting in the 50s over here in the 2020s before Coco. And then it kind of since the COVID world, the guys are hitting a few more greens. That's good to see. Strokes gained approach, dark green, more important than normal. It's by 3%. And then putting as well on Bermuda grass over here at PGA National, going to be important. What's up, Easy, my main man? Really like Alex Noren this week. Accurate off the tee, has been playing well. What's up, Ryzen 5, my boy? Seems like past winners play well at Sony and Amex. Might get slept on this week along with solid course. Yeah, exactly. So that's the deal. I think we're going to have to see what these boys get up to. Go from there. Driving accuracy, pretty much it's the same, yeah, but the guys, The driving accuracy is the same as tour average, but the driving distance is down by about 10 yards, which means that it's pretty tricky to hit fairways here. These guys are hitting 3-woods, hitting hybrids, 3-irons, all that jazz off the tee, and still only matching tour average in general. So that's going to be difficult. And we've seen the scores at this venue. It's tough. It's over par. It's almost a stroke more difficult than tour average. So that's going to be important this week, making sure your boys can get bogey avoidance rocking and rolling. So that's what's cooking over here. How's the volume sound? How does the quality sound? Because my microphone's like at the bottom over here. It's not necessarily on my desk in the front of me. It's like kind of in the way of the keyboard. So we'll have to see. I'm kind of curious as to, guys, those of you that have listened in the past, how it sounds any different or if it's actually no difference at all. Let's do this. Let's pull up the Bet the Number model over there at the good folks at Bet the Number from Tour Junkies. Use code MANIAC for 10% off. You get 5% off a month, and then I think 50 off the annual subscription, and you also get, I think, a free week. So check it out. You get a free week. I don't think you have to do too much to even get yourself in the mix for that. Check it out if you like it. If you don't, piss off. It is what it is. But we want you guys using this amazing tool that they have over here. I popped in my model, and it pulled some really delightful stuff. You can get the course history. You can see the recent form. You can see all that stuff, and you can get, obviously, all the important metrics that we're going to go through here. So I've got approaches from 125 to 150, 150 to 175, 175 to 200. And then I want distance from the edge of the fairway. I want guys that aren't going to be messing around with errant shots. I want the boys that are going to be positioning off the tee numbers quite nicely. Putting on Bermuda grass, going to be very important. We got those Bermuda surfaces, got some recent formula for the last 24 rounds, and then we've got bogey avoidance in that range. I also filtered on some strokes gained off the tee for the courses that are kind of more relation to this kind of a venue, TPC Sawgrass, those kind of shorter courses with tons and tons of penalties on the side. And guess what? Eric Cole popped right up. So he's in the mix for us. He's in the mix for us this week. He almost won it this time last year, that time this win. You know the deal. But Eric Cole, he found himself right in the mix there. So we're going to have to deal with him this week. I think it's going to be fun to see what he can get up to. All right. So Eric Cole, let's speak about him. So I'm going to kind of fire out over the situation here. If you have any questions, obviously, throw them in, yeah. It's good. Thanks for all the feedback there, boys and girls. We are sounding good, yeah. That's always what I want to do over here. Means the microphone's out the way too. All right, Eric Cole, let's see what you got to tell us. So Eric Cole, let's do the rankings here. I prefer that. Kind of just makes things a bit more simple. If you take a look, why is he going to be popping so hard from 175 to 200? Incredibly good there. And then he can putt nutsos on these greens. So he's looking good in that department. Kind of 125 to 175 ain't his best range, but he's pretty solid from 175 to 200. So either side of those buckets there are where Eric Cole gets it done towards the longer side of things. So that's what you're going to see there. Oh, JT Poston for an outright. Chris, I think he'll be like mid-20s, pushing 30. We've got in the field here. We've got Rory sitting all the way down here. He'll be 6 to 7 to 1. And then from then on out, there's not like tons and tons of guys here that I'm like fretting about. I think we'll see him sitting there and then probably jump into the mid-teens right away. Tom Kim suits this golf course really nicely. We've got 2 Toms in the top of the model here, so that's going to be quite fun. We'll get to them here shortly. But let's pull up Eric Cole. A little deep dive situation. As always, we've got my big old database here. I'm working with the guys at Bet the Number to kind of get this on their site at some point when we can kind of really dive into these guys round by round, because that's my favorite thing about these Sunday night research shows, because there might have been 1 or 2 rounds that kind of just threw everything off kilter that you can kind of manually navigate here, which we're trying to do. So we'll see what Eric Cole's been up to and go from there. So we've got the big old vault, as you can see here. This is the vault. As always, for those of you that are showing up here, you're going to know that that's the Harry Potter thing. I went to the Harry Potter orchestra with Mrs. Maniac for our 6th year anniversary, and we watched the Order of the Phoenix. It's a good time. If you're a Harry Potter fan, go check out those kind of things. That orchestra was so much fun to see. All right. So Eric Cole, he finally got a week off. Who would have ever thought Eric Cole took a week off, but he did. He did not go play in Mexico. He's had 7 straight tournaments. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 straight tournaments to start the year, leading up to the Genesis, and we kind of faded him there. T10. The guy just does not go away. He's like a Taco Bell diarrhea. So I think 40-1, D. I don't know, buddy. This Poston's been, maybe he'll open at 40-1. That's a good point. You know, like I think opening versus closing odds. I think Poston he'll get steamed once if he opens at 40. It won't last long. I'll imagine he kind of meanders his way back down to like the lower 30s, upper 20s, depending on how this field isn't super crazy talented. So, you saw the HP at the Hollywood Bowl for you. Damn, dude. Which movie? Which movie did you see, Easy? Eric Cole. So what we see with Eric Cole around the greens kind of lost a bit of steam at TPC Scottsdale, a little bit of steam around the Farmers, a little bit of steam around Pebble Beach. That's kind of his problem, but he kind of bounced back nicely around the green at the Genesis, which is thicker, kind of rough. Third one. So what? The Prisoner of Azkaban. That's one of my favorites. Not a lot of deaths, but definitely a lot of new characters. Love Sirius is showing up there. But let's take a quick look at Eric Cole. Ooh. Guys and girls. So we know we've been talking shit about Eric Cole, right? And how bad of a driver of the golf ball is. Let's just start at the Sony Open. And would you take a look at this? Eric Cole, off the tee, is averaging 0.21 strokes. Let's take a look at what his off the tee numbers here. 79th. That's the last 36. It's the last 36 rounds off the tee. Let's do, how many rounds is this since the last 16? Let's just do that. Let's see what happens to Eric Cole's numbers off the tee here. If we just do the last 16. But that's also not going to bring in, I'm not going to change that because that's not going to bring in the right stuff. We got a specific course set up here. It ain't going to be where we're going. Also, I never put Eric Cole's timestamp in. I think it was around about 7 minutes. Boom. Okay. Nope, I'm putting it in the wrong spot. Sorry. Timestamps are important. Otherwise we lose track here. But it looks like even the timestamps are slowing us down. All right. Timestamp 7 minutes. Okay. So Eric Cole. He's gaining off the tee, folks. And that's been his issue. If you take a look here, like we had this situation here, prior to that, he's lost, last 24, let's do. He was losing 0.2 strokes. So if you just kind of even keep going back, it's just constantly going to be floating around there. It's not being good. It's looking better. You can see, this is why I love like conditional formatting, because you can see the difference in color here. Let's zoom in a bit here so you can see what I'm seeing. Take a look at this. This is Eric Cole's stuff, and we are seeing some good. He's only lost off the tee like over half a stroke once since Pebble. So the off the tee, he seems like his drive is figuring itself out. Now, I don't know if Eric Cole can win a tournament. I just don't know if he can. He's kind of one of those guys that I've just been enjoying top 20. But I think he'll be quite popular because of the course history. I think, obviously, he finished. This was his coming out party. Right? Yeah. The Honda Classic, boom, second. So he finished nicely here, and he did it with some he gained off the tee in all 4 rounds. So that's going to be interesting to see. He drove the ball really nicely that week, played nicely on approach, and putted lights out when he needed to. So nice balance of stuff. He's definitely a consideration this week. Eric Cole, if you want my opinion on a outright number for Eric Cole that I would pull the trigger on, it would probably have to be in the 30s. I don't know if I'm going to go to Eric Cole anytime soon at that kind of a short number. We'll have to see. But old Eric does his thing. So we'll see what Eric Cole can get up to. I mean, he's been top 10ing in 22% of his last 12 rounds, top 20ing in 40%. I think he's going to be a top 20 bet for me for sure. If we get anything close to minus 125 for Eric Cole, we're going to bet him top 20. I think that's the way to go. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4. Like, just the top 20s are just nonstop for this guy. So I love him in the top 20 market. I don't know if I'll be betting him outright, but we might have to see what the field looks like. Maybe we go back to him. Maybe we don't. All right. Also, need to make sure I don't keep rattling this mouse around. Like, I was listening back to a show of mine and I kept bouncing my mouse off this wooden table down here, and it drives me nuts. So Eric Cole, definitely a consideration in the outright market, maybe, depending on the price. I'd probably bet him if he's like 35, 40 to 1. I don't know if I'll bet him if he's shorter than 30, which I'm assuming he will come out at, but top 20, definitely going to be going to him. All right. Tom Hoge. Taking a look at Tom Hoge, take a look at what his stats look here behind the scene for old Thomas. You can see what his last number of rounds have been up to here. Last 24 rounds, around the green play has been doing better. Definitely been doing better. So you can see like just the average stuff for him, for the strokes gained, for all the different metrics. He's been cooking around the green, which is good to see. If you take a look at his approach numbers, like, oh baby, it's been fun. Like, from the fairway, this guy's just been dialing it in non-stop. The driving accuracy, whatever, the ball speed this week, I don't think is going to be remotely close to what we need to kind of see from guys that we saw this week with old Nap Attack doing his thing. But take a look at this. Hoagie's been dialing in. We've been betting this guy top 20 the last few tournaments, and it's been great. We had him, I think, at Pebble, we had him at the Phoenix, and we had him at the Genesis. Top 20s. He's just been a wagon. Look at this tee to green stuff. Ooh. It's been good, and it's all been approach. Off the tee, not nearly as sexy as we'd like, but that's okay. If we take a quick peek at Tom Hoagie's numbers, oh boy, I'm excited for this because I think Hoge, if you take a look at what we were talking about ranges, Tom Hoge, boys and girls, is delightfully good from that range. If we pull up his stuff here, it's very, very nice to see because his ranges are just solid non-stop. His best range is from 175 to 200, and the strokes gained just from 100 to 250 is second in this field. So that's just going to be all the strokes gained from 100 to 250. If you take a look at from 125 to 150, it's 12th. 150 to 175 is 32nd. So the further away we get, the more important Tommy Hoagie's numbers, the better they are. And if you take a look at these approach numbers, he hasn't lost on approach since the Farmers in round 1. So let's just, for interest sakes, just to see, he's averaging 1.5 strokes on approach in his last 12 rounds. Tom Hoge is. That's good to see. I mean, that's just very nice to see. And then if you take a look at what he's been up to, let's leave the Century alone, and we'll include a really shitty round to start off at the Sony, which was his worst putting performance of the year so far. He's averaging 2/3 of a stroke. Tom Hoge is putting. So there's so much going on here with Tom Hoge, folks. So much. We don't need the season. We know what that is. I'm super excited to see what this guy gets up to. And he's just been doing nothing off the tee, which is fine. This week, I think he lacks distance. He's not cracking over 300 yards this year, really, which isn't that big of a deal this week. I think I will be betting Tom Hoge if he comes out at, I think he'll probably be 40 to 1, I think. I don't think Tom Hoge has been significantly priced lately. And we got a 6th at Pebble. We got an 8th at the Genesis. We got a 17th at the Farmers. We got a 17th at the Amex. Like, he's shown up. He missed the cut at the Sony, putted like shit in round 1. Pretty much caused him to miss the cut about on the number there by 1 shot. So that's what's going on with Tom Hoge's world. Holy cow, this approach play has been delightful. Delectable, delightful. Since the Sony, even if we just take a look at this year, Jesus Christ, Tom Hoge, averaging 1.2 in 2024 on approach. So he's a green light special. You're going to see, we got the green lights on, by the way. And if you want a change of color, let me know. We got green because of Jake Knapp. We're celebrating. We are celebrating this week. We got going to be busting out the $100 shirt. Tom Hoge, though, let's go. If we catch a rogue number on him, he's in. He's in the mix. I'm going to be all over this guy this week. So I'm going to pop his timestamp in here, which I totally forgot to take down. What we're going to probably assume it was around about, 17 minutes, 16 minutes. Already forgetting stuff early on. Let's talk about Tom Kim. Tom Kim, baby. Sitting at a casual 21 minutes into the show. Oh, yeah. Hoge is 100% in play, DT. 100%. Like, if he's anything north of 30 to 1 this week, I'm in. And obviously the top 20s, we're going to be betting there. Justin Rose and Ryo Hisatsune are on my radar as well. What are your thoughts? I'm going to get there, buddy. We got Justin Rose. Ooh. I don't know. Where's he at? Am I missing him early? We'll get there. We're going to scoot down, yeah. Is Justin Rose even in the field? He is. Model's got him 23rd ranked. Around the green, putting, all good. The approaches from 150 to 75, looking good. The rest, not so amazing. But we'll get to Rosie. Kind of, you're derailing my attention span, yeah, Chris. Let's get some Willie Pen blue, Mike. Okay. Blue it is. Boom chakalaka, baby. Let's go. All right. Yep. And that's all blue. Willie P blue. Mike, are you a William Penn alum, my friend? Where's Bud Carnally? We're gonna get there. Tom Kim. Let's talk about Tom Kim. If you take a look at Tommy off the tee on these shorter courses, this is where he shines, 8th in the field. And look at Tom Hoge's off the tee numbers here for. You're a central guy up in Pella there. I see you. Well, we appreciate your William Penn fandom too, yeah. So Tom Hoge off the tee, delightful stuff there on the shorter courses too. Tom Kim, even better. So that's what we're going to really like about him. And from 150 to 175, delectable. He's top 20, top 17 in all three big bucket categories that make up 2/3 of the shots on approach this week. And then just in general, when you kind of take those other buckets away, the strokes gain from 100 to 250 is 19th. So it's nice to see that his strokes gain from the most important buckets are better than his average, which is good to see there. And then obviously the putting for Tom Kim is just a goddamn disaster all the time, basically. But we're going to figure out Tommy. It turns out we've got a type here over on Back Nine Bets, folks. We have a definite type. We like mullets. We like people that wear. We like guys that play in Mexico. The last two tournaments in Mexico, we've hit outrights at. So maybe we should find the Mexican development tour and start betting on those bad boys down there, because that's where we do our best work. Our EVR at the weight WWT, we hit him, and we hit Tom Kim, two of his last three, which couldn't quite get to him at the Shriners where he won, but he was at 11, 12 to 1. We couldn't quite get there. Tom Kim on approach the last little while. He's been a moody teenager, hasn't he? It's too much green, there's too much red for me. There's so much going on, and this is the thing with Tom Kim. If you take a look at Tom Kim's betting odds, also let me just pull this up quickly. I want to speak about this stuff, but it was also one of the things that was causing me some heartache about starting the show late, because I've got too many files open and it's going to slow down the show, but it is what it is. I want to show you something. Tom Kim's, he's been not profitable at all in any market outside of the outright market. So that's the thing with Tom, is it's not good to bet him for any other situation. T17, T24, T18, there's been random things. I will get on track here shortly. We kind of got off to a bit of a wishy-washy start, but I will start focusing nicely once this file opens, if it ever does. But we'll just keep talking shit about Tom Kim until it happens. The putting is interesting. I mean, look at the genesis there. In round 3, lost 3 strokes. In round 4, the next day, gains 2.5. It's like, what are we up to, cuz? And then we had some really good approach play from round 2 of the waste management, and then he kind of petered off towards the end of Riv. So that's the problem with Tom Kim. I'm not necessarily like sure where the hell his game is at this point in time. So we'll have to see. This is what I was dealing with earlier. And as you can see, like my computer's being a little bitch. So we'll just go back to this in the meantime until that opens up. So Tom's also not played here before. He hasn't played here yet. And he's only got the 1 top 20 in the last few starts. So that's what's going on over here. We know the approach numbers are going to be great. From ball striking perspective, we can expect fireworks from Tom. It's just whether or not the putting shows up. And I'm not entirely sure what number I would bet Tom Kim at. I'd probably bet him north of 20 for sure. If he shows up south of that, it's a tough call. I think Pat was guessing the odds earlier, and he kind of thought that Tom Kim would be like 12 or 16, which would be a tough situation for me. Let's pull up winners. So Tom Kim should show up here pretty quickly. Yep, there it is. If you take a look at what Tom Kim's been up to, and this is for the last 12 months. Not profitable in the top 5, not top 10, not top 20, but he has obviously won multiple times since he's showed up on the PGA Tour. So I think if we're going to bet him, it would be outright. I don't know if we'll trust him to do any sort of placement market. He's boom or bust, which is what this is telling us here. We'll have to see what he gets up to. But anything shy of 20 to 1 and better, it's going to be tough to get to him, even though he's popping for us. Taylor Pendrith, let's talk about him for a second, yeah. Let me find the timestamp for Pendrith so we make sure the good people that are listening on the back burner, yeah, get some love. What, the Ludwig stuff, yeah? Yeah, take a look at this grand total for Ludwig. Where's he at, yeah? Ludwig Aubert. Where are you, bud? Yeah. Is this what you were giggling at, DT? This is cool stuff. I love this. And I spoke with the boys at Bet the Number. We're going to probably try and get something like this hooked up here soon. But if you take a look at Ludwig, he's profitable across all markets, which is delightful to see. All right, 28 minutes in, let's chat about Taylor Pendrith, who's popped pretty hard for us. Why did he pop pretty hard? Because he is a guy that typically shines on these shorter courses. He's a boomer. He's a bomber, which we all thought would be the way to play him this week. Didn't quite work out for us. We had a top 20 on him. Didn't cash. Didn't even make the cut. So that wasn't good. But we had another profitable week in the placement market again this week, folks. So even if we didn't hit the outright, we still would have made money this week, which is always good to know. That's what we want in the betting world. So Taylor Pendrith approaches from the wedges have been a little rough. The mid irons from 150 to 175, top 30 in the field, and then 175 to 200, 23rd. So that makes a lot of sense why we liked him at this course that was long iron intensive. He just didn't seem to show up. The putting didn't perform. It is what it is. The strokes gained over the last few rounds, he's showing up quite nicely. I believe that is what? Just the last 24 rounds strokes gained total for the field is where we had Taylor Pendrith here, and he's been balling out. So that's good to see. What we do like about him as well is the bogey avoidance. He's 8th in the field in bogey avoidance. That's good to see too. You know, I think if you take a look at this golf course, let's take a look here, what the course says for us over here at PGA National Resort, the champion, past 70 to 7,125 yards. The past top performers for the top 10 situations here, it's all on Bet the Number. You can see the boys doing what they do best over here. If you take a look at the driving around the greens, all this jazz, you can see exactly what's cooking. I haven't necessarily dived deep enough to know if there is the scores on here, but that's totally fine. We can pull that up somewhere else. In the meantime, I will be better at this as we go forward. But I don't imagine the scores have been that easy to get past -10 at the Honda in the last little while. Take a quick peek at these guys, what they've been up to. Kirk got to -14. There were only 4 guys to get past double digit under par. So this is like a Shane Lowry special. This is a Matt Fitzpatrick special. This is the courses for them. That was in 2023. In 2022, the winning score for Sepp was -10. By the way, this is a little sentimental event for me. If you take a look at this guy, Daniel Berger, who shot +4 in round 4 with a 5-shot lead. This was the first tournament I wrote an article about, and I had Daniel Berger with a 5-shot lead going into round 4. I was about to just show up and dominate. No, Daniel Berger had other ideas. I don't think, look at this, the putting. I think his longest putt through the first few rounds was the first 16 or so holes. I think his longest putt was like 2 feet. It was bizarrely bad. So -10. If you take a look at 2021, we got -12. Matt Jones just went to town on the folks. I think just short gamed and approached to death. -12. No one got better than -7. Sungjae Im, when he won here, which is probably the last, -6. So, like, it's difficult. It's very difficult. Think you get 4 extra strokes in the winning score. I know. This is an interesting point. Think you get 4 extra strokes in the winning score with the par 4 number 10 being extended 20 yards to a par 5. What? Like, why? Why are these people doing this? It doesn't make sense to me. Just leave the integrity of the golf course there. We've got course records. We've got people that have played there in the past that pride themselves on how they've played there. Now we're just changing the course by adding 20 extra yards. Like, that doesn't change anything. Doesn't change anything. Keep the course how it is. I don't why. Like, I think they said something about trying to improve the vibes on the green so that guys can clap for more birdies. The simpletons on the green, just knowing that it's basically the same hole, but they're getting much better on it. So what on earth is going on there? Please, we need to figure our stuff out. Absolutely need to figure our stuff out and go from there. So yeah, we are waffling, but we're having a good time here. So as you can see, got to make sure the guys can get just to -10. I think you're going to be right in the mix if you can get to -10. And for me, that screams certain kind of golfers like Shane Lowry, Cameron Young for some reason. I don't know why I mentioned his name off the top of the bat, but it is what it is. So that's Taylor Pendrith for you. I don't know. I think the hype on Pendrith is a little bit more than what we kind of expect. I just don't think he ever really lives up to his situation. Let's look up what Pendrith's situation is from a betting perspective. Top 10, top 20, yeah. So you want to bet the guy not for like elite upside. You just want to bet him for kind of top 10, top 20, which may be the way we go. I don't think I'll be betting him to win the tournament, despite the model popping him out pretty hard. We are the maniac. We've got to have a bit of maniac override from time to time. JT Poston. Let's pull his stuff up here. I think Ebom was asking about Poston. I think I like Poston this week because if you take a look at what he's been up to, it's interesting. Let's start with this one. What's up, Darbo? Oh, by the way, folks, Darbo was on my show last week to speak about Dexter. Go check that out if you're a Dexter fan. And we had a Thomas Dietrich case of beer bet. If Thomas Dietrich finished inside the top 15, Darbo was owed a case of beer by me. If he was outside the top 15, I owe Darbo a case of beer. Thomas Dietrich shot 7 over par, and that was the worst round of the day in round 1. So, Darbo, I hope you have a better week this week. Apologies to you on that department. A case of Keystone will be just fine, my friend. So, thank you for that. Let's pull up Poston, who I'm a big, big believer of. I mean, we're going to see some top 10 payouts here that are delightful. Take a look at this. Last 12 months, it's been his most profitable market. And in fact, we can actually just filter on this and see. I'm assuming he'll be one of the best in the bunch. Apparently, the filter doesn't work on the pivot if you're just doing that. So let's do the filter here. JT Poston, the only person that's had more top 10 success and payouts over the last 12 months has been Rory and Scotty. So that's good to see. What's up, Pat? What's up? We got Pat in the house, Jake Knapp's godfather, essentially, the whatchamacallit, the range rat whisperer who introduced us to Jake Knapp on a much more personal level on the show over there at Tour Junkie. So we appreciate you being in the house, my friend. Yeah. So we kind of just deep diving here on Bet the Number. We've got JT Poston sitting 5th in the model for us here. He's had 3 top 10s. That's been good to see from the postman. And if you take a look at what he does, the off the tee stuff, it's typically his worst range anyway. But then the approaches, boy, oh boy, sitting top 26 from 125 through 200. That's good to see there. He kind of loses a bit of it as we get longer. It is what it is. He's so good at putting right now. The Bermuda putting for him is top 8 in the field. That's good to see. We got lots of good stuff there, and the recent form is 8th in the field too. Bogey avoidance, 27th. We had a top 10 at the Genesis, a top 20 at Pebble, missed the cut, obviously, at the Waste Management. He's never quite played well, yeah. The last few years, it's been rough. Haven't had much better than a T35 in the last few starts. So let's take a quick peek at his kind of deep diving situation, yeah? Round by round stuff for the postman, who I'm interested in. I really am. I think he's someone I want to kind of get going. Yeah. Pat woke up the chat. That's good. I can't get his message off of the screen either. Okay, so the postman. Wow. So obviously he had his worst putting performance of, I think, his career at the Waste Management when he was just shy of 5 strokes lost there. So that's not good for old postman. The approach play has been sporadic, to say the least. We started off the year at the Century, basically. He started kicking it off there quite nicely. And I think he finished the year quite nicely too. Had some really spiky rounds at the BMW Championship, had some spiky rounds at the Shriners, had some spiky at the Wyndham, had some spiky at the 3M. We haven't really seen much spiky approach play from him. It's been good performances, but we haven't seen like top end stuff. I mean, we've only got 1 round, maybe let's call it 2, since the year's begun, where he's gained 2 strokes or more. You know, and I think on approach, since the Century, we're sitting at like basically neutral. If we kind of go to Sony, we're sitting at 0.2. So like the approach play just hasn't been there for JT. It's all been putting. And the moment it dropped him badly, we were in trouble. And it was his best approach. Like he hadn't seen that many good birdie looks for a long time, which is a problem for him. So we'll have to see. But off the tee's been good. That's been much better. You know, if we take a look at the Sony, it's been significantly better. We just take away that 1 round there. We're averaging a quarter of a stroke off the tee in the last 12 minus that 3rd round at Wailai. Take away the Genesis, which, you know, we kind of picking and choosing. We get almost to half a stroke gained. Yeah. So JT Poston, I think you want to be looking at top 10, top 20 stuff for sure. The top five, not quite the way you want to bet him, but absolutely love the top 10, top 20 market for Poston. We'll see what numbers they bring him out at, especially if Dylan is correct in saying that he comes out at 40-1, which will mean we get some correlatory numbers there from him in the top 10, top 20 market. Chris Kirk, let's pull him up here. 39 minutes into the show. Hope you guys are having a blast. Good to see some fun names, new names in the show. Pat, have you reached out to Jake Knapp? Did he tell you how he's feeling post victory? I saw he was shotgunning a Michelob Ultra. Yeah. Let's actually quickly pull up. I totally got spaced out on JT. Let's pull up his stuff here at the PGA National round by round, and let's see what he's really been up to over the last little while. It hasn't been good. Filtering on these colors is not a good situation either in the big work paper, but it is what it is. Okay, let's take a look. Oh boy, it's all been... So that's at least encouraging, is the fact that the putting has been shit, and it hasn't been like it's his best trait that's let him down here. which is fine. Maybe it happens again. Maybe it doesn't. So maybe with the course history, we see a bit of a bounce, like a better odds for him. But yeah, the scoring hasn't been good. So you only sent him a message 73 minutes ago, but who's counting? I love it. That's awesome. So yeah, we don't see too much. I guess in 2017, we saw a top 27 there. Still not good. Not good, Bob. Off the tee, not too shabby. Whew. Was there a more uncomfortable sweat recently than nap? Dude, that's the thing. Like, it was like, okay, we see him just hit that shot off the first tee, then he thins it, then he like duffs the chip, putted nicely. Next hole, same, just like we knew quickly. We knew quickly we were going to be in trouble. But thank God, I don't know how this happened, that the only person that could have actually won that tournament was Sammy Balamaki, right? Like, I think if he had the lead going into this tournament with, call it 3 other guys in the hunt versus just one, it wasn't going to be a W today. Somehow they separated themselves enough for that to work out. It happened, Kev, T-Dak. It happened for us. Thank God. I was looking at Sammy's odds, 110-1. We evaded the triple-digit snipe thanks to the grace and power and majesticness of Nap. So that was good. That was good. So Poston, I don't know. I think we could see some really nice top 10 numbers on him. We could see some really nice top 10, top 20 numbers on the Postman because the course history is terrible. I also haven't looked at the course history quickly. Let me pull that up over here and just see the correlatory stuff real quick. Course history. So obviously Mexico didn't possess the best course history except initial names Cam Champ, who once again had another top 10. I had a Mark Hubbard matchup against him. Mark Hubbard lost 6.5 strokes, 6.25 strokes over the course of the weekend to lose a matchup to Cam Champ. So I'm feeling great. Mark Hubbard, god damn. All right, what is this place called? PGA National? The Resort. Decent amount of course history. I mean, we've got Quail Hollow and Muirfield on either side. 2 very predictive. It's about middle of the pack to the upper bit, so you can take it by some good stuff. Eric Cole, obviously, with 2 rounds, not a lot of stuff going on there. All right, let's dive back into the model over here at Bet the Number, baby. Okie dokie. The defending champ, Chris Kirk, miscut in 2020, 2019, T25 in 2021, a 7th in 2022, and then he won it last year. So that's good for old Chris. We'll have to take a look at what he's got up to. If you take a look at we're clicking buttons and throwing ourselves off the filter. Chris Kirk, he's a wedge machine. That's his thing. Not necessarily the best from 150 to 170. Like, this to me is so peculiar for golfers. Why is he incredibly good from 125 to 150? So that's basically, call it a gap wedge, a sand wedge, a gap wedge, and a pitching wedge. Then you get 41st. He's the second best from that range. 41st from 150 to 175, which is not a terrible drop-off, but it's still a pretty big one. And then he's back at it again from 175 to 200, which is what? 7 irons, 6 iron, and out, 5 irons. So that's what's interesting from his perspective. Very solid approach numbers. Word on the street, golf royalty is in the house. We've got Pat Perry, we've got Sia Najad, we've got DT in Phoenix, we've got D Hess, we've got Easy McDeasy, we've got tons and tons. We've got Central College alum, we've got Sweet Spot DFS in that. I mean, this back nine bets, boys. I mean, I might just turn this into a networking channel. Just come show up in the chat. You're bound to run into some sort of a celebrity to some degree. So just putting that out there. It's the place to be on a Sunday night for sure. Hello, Sia. How are you doing, my friend? Okie dokie. Back to the paid programming over here. Chris Kirk, the bogey avoidance, the course history, the recent form. Obviously, one down in when we had Sahith, which broke our hearts. But let's pull up Kirk and see what his situation is round by round, what he's been up to the last little filter on, and now we've shows up, and now he's breaking my filters on my big file, and we're taking extra minutes to do that. But also, we never did the timestamp. So I need to find Chris Kirk to put the timestamp down so that people that listen to this afterwards can find it. Where are you, Chris? 45 minutes in. Where are you? Let's do this. Filter by color, get all the black back in there. And we are back in business now. Let's get Chris Kirk. I'm assuming we'll see some really nice approach numbers. We'll see some really nice scrambling numbers from him. I think it's just going to be across the board. We're going to just see some really good stuff across the board from Kirk at this venue. Yeah. It's not in the last little while. And he played really nice. The form was very good. I love this like miscut stuff right before someone wins. Isn't that just freaking golf as well? T3, miscut, W. That's just such, it doesn't necessarily mean that the week before you have to have played well. It's a long-term, short-term view. Look at this. Since he started playing nicely in 2019, the approach play has been very dialed at this golf course. Some very nice approach numbers. He's averaging over half a stroke on approach at this golf course, which makes tons of sense. We'll like to see that. The putting has been hot and cold. You know, you can see all sorts of stuff. And the scrambling. He just scrambles this golf course to death and doesn't lose too much strokes off the tee. That's his thing. That's the recipe for Chris Kirk. And that's how it goes. The approach play looked really nice there around about the US Open time. Missed the cut there despite really playing some good golf. And he's kind of just fallen off the wagon. So this is not off the wagon. He's on the wagon. He's not drinking. Obviously, we know that about Chris Kirk. He's fallen off the wagon strokes gained wise. What are we doing here? What are we doing? Obviously, since the beginning of the year, we had this incredible run of approach play. And then at the American, at Pebble, at the Genesis, we saw, to miss the cut at the Genesis, not good. We had some big names miss the cut there. I don't know about Chris Kirk this week. It feels like he's kind of reverted back to that like mediocre Chris Kirk. But also this course history is phenomenal for him. I don't know what to do with him. I need some help in the chat here from what we're going to do with Chris Kirk, folks. I'm having a tough time. Let's speak about this. The putting it's lost the plot the last little while. He couldn't miss a putt at the Plantation course. I just don't understand. I don't understand. His last 3 tournaments have been very bad. I don't know. I don't know what we're going to do with him. I don't think you're going to go back to Kirk. You think the course history rivals what he's been up to since the Sony sweet spot? I don't know. Yeah, maybe a top 20, but let's take a look. AK's power fading Kirk, so you're going to leave him alone? Maybe. Let's see. Do we filter on top 20s? Does Chris Kirk show up? No, I don't think he's been playing well enough. The mic's making it tough to oh boy. Yeah, so his like last 12 months haven't necessarily been the greatest. It's just the wins. Obviously, one of the most profitable golfers on the PGA Tour to have won the last 2 times that they've played. So I don't know even about top 20 and top 10s, boys and girls. What his last few starts have not been good. And it's been a lot of time. It's been five tournaments, and he's only played twice and hasn't really done well. I don't know, boys. I think I'm out on Kirk. Check at Greyson Sigg showing up here. Check at Greyson Sigg. I think he's an interesting character. I think he's going to make a very good like DFS play. I don't know if Greyson Sigg's capable of winning a golf tournament. Ooh, okay. So you thinking, yeah. I mean, the course history thing a bit us hard with Cameron Champ. I ignored course history for a particular golfer, and it bit us. Greyson Sigg top 20s on the cards for sure. Absolutely on the cards. Take a look at Greyson Sigg's situation. Yeah, T20 in 8 of his last 34. What what do you mean, T-Dac? I'm confused. What, last 34 rounds? So let's go look at Greyson Sigg. Greyson Sigg's timestamp is 50 minutes. He is incredibly good from 175 to 200. That's his range. And the thing is, this is also an interesting situation. Like from 125 to 175, the difference in these guys' game. Let's just go to like Sigg, for instance. Has he played here before? Hasn't necessarily played well, yeah. But I'm going to look at these like approach numbers quickly and just kind of figure out. So if you take a look from the fairway, 100 to 150 on Data Golf, the last 12 months. Let's do that. The average PGA Tour player is what? 21.4 feet or 22. Yeah. So 22 feet on average is the proximity from 100 to 150. If you take a look at someone, for instance, like the proximity numbers get much, much bigger. So we've got PGA Tour proximities 31 feet. And then this Greyson Sigg is 28. So like it's only 3 feet, 4 feet. I know it's a lot, all things considered. It's like 10% better, but it's not necessarily that much. If you take a look at, like, for instance, when you go over 200, then you get to 52 feet, which is way worse than 40. I don't know. I just feel like the further away it is, the more important a good approach skill set is, because that's where you can really separate yourself. From 175 to 200, a much better player from that range is going to separate himself much more from a scoring perspective than someone that's just mediocre from 125 to 150 kind of thing. A bad player will only maybe be like 3 or 4 feet further away from the hole. I don't know how that impacts percentages. Maybe Darbo can address that on a show of his at some point, where, you know, the difference in strokes gained from one bucket to another, how much importance that carries. But old Sigg is pretty darn good when it comes to keeping his ball near the fairway. I know this needs to switch around, I believe. I think the edge needs to be the opposite way, but it's still pulling in the right stuff for the model. We've got Greyson Sigg over here, who finished T19 in Mexico. Mexico's already in here. Let's go, baby. So we got a T19 finish for old Sigg. Let's take a quick peek at what he got up to. I think that's going to be an important little situation. What did he ball strike it? Did he putt well? I like him for a top 20 for sure this week. Thank you, Darbo. I would like to see what that happens. Like what the strokes gain situation is from a certain prox. That would be very, very cool to see. So Sigg at the Mexico, just solid across the board. Approach play was looking good. Round 1, round 2, gain. Had a bad round 3, but still putted lights out, scrambled his face off probably, and then bounced back in round 4. So yeah, Greyson Sigg is on the cards, folks, for a top 20 for sure. Absolutely popping hard here from a strokes gained perspective on approach. We're loving what we're seeing from Greyson Sigg in that department. Let's take a look at his round by round stuff quickly before we dive into our next guy. I think we like him. I don't know about a tournament. His odds will probably be around about what, 80 to 1, 100 to 1 maybe. Yeah, shot like our boy Chandler Phillips, Mustache Man, almost T20. Yep. There was some interesting, that deep dive we did on the Corn Ferry Tour, guys, paid some serious dividends. I got 48 of my 150 lineups through, 6 for 6, 33%, 32%, and I only went 3x this week. I put in $75 worth of 150 lineups and only won like $230. Nikolai Højgaard dropped the ball. We had him in like 107 lineups, so that was not good. Okay, so similar comp courses. Let's think this through. The RSM, Greyson Sigg, T8. Check what he did on approach. Solid stuff. I don't know what the RSM's proximity bucket ranges are, but you can expect him. He played nicely there. Missed the last two cuts, mainly because of the short game. That's okay. If he's grading out the way he is for approach play at this golf course, I'm totally fine. Look at these things here. T17, T8, T28, T25 the last few times. So maybe a top 30 bet is the way to go for him, because that's what he's been up to. And maybe even a top 40 bet. We'll have to see what he gets up to. From a top, let me pull up Sigg here. Top 40 over the last 12 months is a third of the time. 35% of the time. Top 20s doing it 1/5. So top 10s is only 4%. Not good. It was probably just the RSM that he did a top 10. So we got lots of solid stuff from Sigg. Maybe a top 20, top 40 little ladder situation. Let's take a look at what he's been up to in the past at the Honda. Did some good, did some bad, putted well when he shouldn't, when he didn't gain on approach, putted badly when he did gain on approach. So that's not good, but kind of, I don't know. The approach play was fine in 2022. The around the green play completely ejected him from the golf tournament. So I don't know what to do with Greyson Sigg outside of betting him just blindly based off the course fit. I'd imagine, even though the course history for Sigg, miscut. That's not ideal, but the way he's kind of profiling out, we could get a really fat number on the top 20, maybe. So we'll see what he can get up to for us. Yeah, I know, shot like 33 freaking % of my 150 guys. I had 48 lineups make it through, and I didn't like Ryo and Nikolai. I had Nap in 65% of my lineups. I had the chance to capitalize this week and I didn't. It was very sad. Thank God Nap at least won, from an outright there. That was brutal. It was brutal. Anyway, so Greyson Sigg, I think he's a conservative top 20, top 40 kind of play, depending on what kind of odds we see there. Cameron Young. All right, Cam. I'm kind of changing my tune on him a little bit. I think he's an interesting play this week. It might not work out well, but who the hell knows? So Cameron Young has not had a top 5 in a long, long time. In fact, the last 12 months, he has not had one. But he's had 55% of his top 40s. So that's what's going on with Cameron Young. He is, let's pull up his betting profile here for us. I need to find a way to put all of this stuff in the same space. It's in my model, but the Young. Young. Look at this. Woo! If you bet to win $100 on Cameron Young for a top 5 in the last 12 months, he would have lost $415. He's lost $1,450 across the 4 markets. So that's not good. He finished inside the top 10 last week. Barely. I think it was on the money, top 10. Scotty, obviously, just a factory of profit. But Cameron Young, the third least profitable golfer you could have bet outside of Jon Rahm and Tony Finau. What is this? Yeah, Jon Rahm just kind of lost the plot a bit, I guess, at some ridiculously low odds. And then this blows my mind. Hideki, just the last 12 months, 4th least profitable golfer to have bet on, and then goes and wins it by just chipping his way to down. Anyway, whatever. Let's talk about Cameron Young. We started speaking about him probably, 58 minutes? And Cameron Young's popping because his approach numbers from 175 to 200 are great. And then again, he's got this situation with this middle this middle bucket. It's very peculiar. Great with the short irons, 125 to 150. Great from 175 to 200. Relative to his peers, not the best from 150 to 175. The around the green play has been ass the last little while, but his general approach play has been good. He's very good on these shorter courses. He dials it in the hell up when it comes to off the tee numbers on shorter courses. His bogey avoidance has actually started moving in the right direction. And we've seen some decent results. T8 at the Waste Management and a T16 at the a 16th at the Genesis. Interesting. I thought he had a top 10. Oh, the guy I had a bet against him with Jason Day. And I guess he did finish T16. Let's pull up Cameron Young round by round and take a look and see if there's been any catastrophic, which he typically does. It would have been round one. I did the dancing coffin gif on Cameron Young because he couldn't get it figured out. Yeah, 65% nap. And we didn't really even I never had any Sammy. I never had any Justin Lower, I don't think. Unfortunately, I had a lot of Carson Young. I had Rafael Campos, a lot of Trace Crow. I had a lot of Mark Hubbard, a lot of just my guys didn't get it together for me. I'm very disappointed in the rest of the squad. They let down Nap bad. So let's go backwards here. An hour in, folks. Cheers. If you are sipping on anything, have a little refresher. Drinking some mushroom coffee with some caramel almond milk this evening. Okie dokie. So Cameron Young, off the tee, has been good, no matter where he's played. He has not lost. He has had his worst round in the last 11 be a third of a stroke gained. So he has not lost less than how can you say that properly? You know what I'm trying to say. He's averaging just shy of a stroke per round off the tee. Yeah, he cut his... Well, it seems like you need some crazy hair on this PGA Tour to kind of succeed. If we kind of take a lock out of Jake Knapp's book. So we've got some ball striking prowess here. The approach play has been all over the place. If you take a look at just since the century for Cameron Young, we've got all sorts of numbers. So we're averaging 0.2. If we take away let's go with his 3 worst in the last 14, where he lost over a stroke on each one. Now we're averaging a quarter of a stroke on approach. So that's his thing. He needs to avoid these crazy rounds. He loses once per tournament. But at Riv, it seemed to come together. The approach, the around the green stuff is bad still. It's very bad. And that's a concern. He's losing too much around the greens. He's been losing almost a stroke around the greens for a while now. Since Pebble. It's just not been good. And about half a stroke, it's just not his thing. The putting, it's good. That's good to see. We've seen some resurgence here with the putter since TPC Scottsdale. Now that could have to do with some power, but also we played at Pebble and it didn't necessarily shine. But the putter seems like it's kind of been firing itself up every now and then, especially the last 8 rounds. That's good to see. Okay, Cam. I don't think he's played yet, has he? Oh, he did. 16th in 2022. Bogey avoidance. Been nice. The putting on Bermuda is 41st in the field, which isn't terrible. Compares 2022 stuff. Sure. Let's see if I can scroll here. We're stuck. This is why I try to get all of this data into just a different file that didn't have everybody in the database in it, because it slows down a little bit longer. But once it lets me scroll, we will. Okay, here we go. So, wow. Just all off the tee again. He gained 4 strokes off the tee in 2022 and did some solid stuff either side of round 2 and round 3 on approach. That's good to see. Just kind of leaked around the greens the whole time. And then, again, the same stuff we're seeing with Cam Young is the putting. So he gained putting. He gained 0.2 per round, but he lost in round 2 and round 3, 1.7 and 2.5. But then in round 4, gained about 4 strokes putting. I think Cam Young is a round 1 guy. You want to turn a screen green quickly? Just filter on Cam Young round 1. Check this out. Look at all this red. Boom. Look, in the last little while, 4 strokes, 4.7, 4.5, 5.2. Like the last little while, his round 1 stat splits have been bananas good. He's very good in round 1. So he's likely a top 10, top 5 candidate for round 1. And then I don't know what to do with him. I think he typically bounces back in round 4 as well. Like that's his also his baby. But it's after he's kind of lost control of the tournament since. Solid stuff from I'm lying. Leave round 4 alone. It's just whatever for him. So that's Cam Young for you guys. I can't say I'm overly thrilled about what we're seeing outside of the putter kind of coming together. But the around the green play is a big concern. The off the tee numbers, the ball striking. Oof. I think the general philosophy with Cam is he's going to look appealing to you regardless. We're going to get a bad number on him anyway. We're not going to get a 35 or a 40 on Cam Young. It's going to be a 30, a 25 to 1, which to me isn't fair. Like it's not a fair number for someone that hasn't finished inside the top 5. But I said that about Hideki Matsuyama, and then he went and won. We got Matsuyama finished inside the top 10, was at the Players. Then he goes and wins the tournament as his first top 10 since then. Cameron Young, not a perennial win. Like Hideki's at least shown when he's in the mix, he can kind of close the deal. Cameron Young, not so much. And it's not a major this week either. So the numbers are looking good. The off the tee stuff, I mean, he'll be great there in any department, any week. He does well on the shorter courses. The approach play's been hit and miss. My concern at a golf course like this that's got tons of hazards is if you're inconsistent with your approach play around, like, I guess you can look for like good shot, bad shot stuff, but that's going to be like nitpicky. I guess let's take a look and see like what's Cam Young's bad shot situation like. Because I think avoiding bad shots this week is going to be imperative because we've got tons and tons of water around the greens. Let's look from 150 to 200. Green regulation rates are bananas bad. Poor shot avoidance is okay. That's the last 12 months. With the wedge, he's pretty good across the board. So I don't mind him. He's like poor shot avoidance is actually pretty good. It's just he doesn't knock it stiff that often. I don't know what to do with Cam Young, folks. I don't know what to do with him. I think getting back to what I was trying to say about him is I'm fine just letting him. I'm not going to try and predict his first win. I think you're just losing too much money on him, betting him until he does. Then maybe you get back on the wagon with him there and see what he can get up to. But he's been a bad bet in general, like unprofitable. And if you take a look at this form, maybe he's a DFS play, but he's kind of showing some life. But at the same time, you cannot chip this badly around this golf course. It's going to eat you up. It's going to eat you up. What is his around the green stuff for Cam Young? Jesus, 120th. Yeah, per shot. So yeah, on the bet the number you can do per shot, which is awesome for like stats like around the green play because you don't want to do strokes gained around the green per tournament. You want to do it per shot because per tournament, if you're hitting all 18 greens, you will likely have lost strokes around the green. Darbo can attest for this. If you've missed all 18 greens and you've chipped just slightly above average, you're going to have outscored around the green the majority of the field because it's a cumulative stat. Every time you play, every time you chip, you're going to add to that strokes gained. and your strokes gained approach is going to be terrible, but everyone has to hit an approach shot. Everyone has to hit a tee shot. Not everybody has to hit a putt. Not everybody has to hit a chip. So that's going to be interesting to see. Anyway, moving on down. The Jaeger man had a great round 3. I had a lot of Jaeger, so that was good. He did help us a little bit. But once again, guess what? Jaeger, like, if you take a look at what Jaeger got up to, like, he dropped the ball in round 3 and then came storming up the board. Stephan Jaeger, round 3. Look at this. Whop, whop. 69 when Jake Knapp was shooting 8 under. No one was... He barely gained strokes. So he got stuck in neutral in round 3. Then round 4, boom, had one of the rounds of the day. Had the round of the day. Round 2, I don't know, played nicely. Like, he has this one round, and it's typically on 3 or 4 where he kind of gets himself right out of the mix. But Jaeger is a good long iron player. Yeah. I don't know. I don't think he can. He's showing a bit more. Hold on. Take a drink before I get into a Jaeger rant here. He's showing a bit more ability to hang around the greens. Sorry, hang around the leaderboard. Like, he's showing he can do it. He's showing, let's take a look at like his recent, like, we can just pull it up here and you can instantly see it's this one time around where it's just, to me, you've got to, no, I don't think he can. And he's also, the odds for him to win tournaments, he's been nuking people. His odds are rather short, and the people won't, like, he's just not doing it for you. He's just not doing it for you. He has one situation per, look here. To win $100 of Stephan Jaeger, you would have lost 50. And the top 10s have not been good. The top 5s have not been good, but he's had a few top 20s. Like, he's a top 20 guy. We bet him top 20 this week. Boom. I don't know. If you take a look at his stuff, let's look here. At the Farmers, he just got stuck in neutral over the weekend. He gained a total of 0.4. So he got stuck in neutral, finished 3rd. At AT&T, at Pebble, whatever, didn't play the best there. If you take a look at what he did at the American Express, kind of had a dud of a Sunday, but it's just all the time. Al Cardinal, check at this. Boom, gains 8 strokes through the first 2 rounds, loses 6. Like, it's just, anytime you see a lot of green, you're going to see a bad round somewhere, unless there wasn't a lot of green preceding it. Look at this. So, barely makes the cut. Detroit Golf Club goes and shoots a 63, like, and backdoors a top 10 like crazy, gaining 7.3. It's just, I don't know, dude. I don't know if he's got it in him. I don't know. It's been consistently solid. Like, he's obviously making cuts at an incredible rate. When was the last time he missed a cut? It was the RBC Heritage. That was it. I think he's on one of the, yes. And it's Jaeger's a round 1, round 2 showdown guy. And then when he's not in the mix, round 3, round 4 showdown guy, for sure. Yes. And this is also a great option for him, is round 1, round 2 showdown, and to make the cut, parlays. Absolutely agree. Holy cow, he's been phenomenal. He's so good. He's so good when it comes to those rounds. But yeah, what he got up to in 2023. He's played a few tournaments, yeah. That's good to see. Let's pull up some Honda Classic and see what he's been up to round by round at this golf course. MDF. I love that name. So he finished 14th here, dialed in on approach, baby. Yes, he was ball striking the crap out of it in 2023. So that's good to see. And I think his putting has got a little bit better as well. We can take a quick peek at that again after we unfilter this. But his ball striking was so good when he finished 14th here. So I think he's back in business again. He gained 9 strokes ball striking, and then it seems like he lost all of that on and around the greens. So that's not good. Yeah, he lost 2 strokes around the greens and putting over the week. So it's promising. I think another top 20 for Jaeger. I will bet him again top 20. For sure. For sure. I think the putting has got better as well. But it's just, he gets like leaderboard shy. Like Xander. Like Dietrich. Like, there's guys that we're figuring this stuff out. Look at Patrick Rogers today. Top 10 at this golf course, but never, ever had a chance to win this tournament because it just doesn't like to do it. So the putting has been getting better, but like when he's in contention, it just kind of gets out of control a bit, like that's what let him down at Torrey is the putter. And it's those short, like 5-footers that can really cost you. I don't bet him any other capacity. I don't think his odds are going to be fair enough to get there anyway. Russell Henley. Boys and girls, if you ain't betting Russell Henley top 20, you don't know what you're up to. This is the way to go. I know he's going to show up second. Bam. Russell Henley, top 20 market to win 100. If you bet to win 100 every tournament he's played in, Russell Henley has finished and won you $774 in the top 20 market. Ridiculous return there. The outright market, leave him alone. Top 5, top 10 has been profitable, but your best bet is a Russell Henley top 20. It's the second best bet outside of Scotty Scheffler. Like if you take a look at the best top 10 return, it's not 700. You take a look at the best top 5 return, it's not 700. Like it is a absolute wagon. Russell Henley, and we totally missed the timestamp on Jaeger. Yikes. So let's try and figure that out. That was probably what? We started speaking about Jaeger at 10:30. What's the time now? 7 minutes ago. Hour 10. Okay. Let's find Jaeger quickly. And then we can speak about Russell Henley, which was what? 36 minutes. Boop, boop, boop. Jaeger. All right. So yeah, Russell Henley is a wedge beast from 125 to 150. It's delightful. I mean, it's just so good. The 128th in the field distance from the edge of the fairway, that's like inverted. So it's if you go like raw rankings, it's much better. It's not nearly as far. I think what's this, feet? So that's good to see. Or is it yards? Feet would be incredible. I think it's probably yards. I don't know. Russell Henley, when it comes to around he can chip like crazy. It's very impressive. Like he's just so freaking good in all the departments, and then the putting can just absolutely destroy him. So we've got that going. The approach play for Henley has also been a bit of a concern of late. It hasn't been the Henley that we've seen in the past. Oh, look at this. Now our thing is kind of causing us issues, yeah. Typing in Jaeger when we're looking for Henley, and it's not even bringing us full box anymore. We got spinning wheels. Life's brutal. Take a sip and chill. But yeah, just all you need to know about Russell Henley is just bet the guy for a top whatchamacallit. Let's close out Spotify. We may have to just restart the Excel, unfortunately, because it's just not working on me. Womp womp. Okay. Well, let's take a look at Henley, at least from a tournament by tournament perspective, and then I might have to just restart Excel, and we can all take a pee break and get going after that. Okay, so the Genesis, he kind of bounced back. we went through a bit of a lull over here, which is what I was trying to show y'all anyway, with his stuff. And the Century was one of the worst tournaments of his recent performance. It's been great ever since. I mean, take a look at this. It's just top 20, top 20, top 20, top 20, top 35, miscut. Top 20, top 20, top 20, top 20, top 20. It's holy freaking cow. Didn't finish top 20 at the Genesis. We didn't bet him because it didn't seem like things were working out for him that well. Tougher field. I think in a field like this, a top 20 bet on Russell Henley is just, it's like stealing money, in my opinion. All right, we're going to close down Excel, unfortunately, folks. And that's going to take a second or two to reboot. But we'll kind of keep rolling off the bet the number model in the meantime. Maybe we don't have to deep dive guys by the number. We can just dive a few guys as we see them on surface level before we get there. So let's do this. Okay. Timestamps be damned. So yeah, Russell Henley, I ain't betting him to win this tournament. He's 10th in the model. Love off the tee stuff on the shorter courses. Obviously, he's one of the most accurate guys in the field. Tough guy around the greens. He loves to get scrappy there, and the bogey rates are great for him. What is his situation at this venue for old Henley? Russell Henley, top 20, top 8, top 3. Yes. I mean, look, there's some bets that are very simple. There's some bets that you have to kind of dive into the weeds. Russell Henley top 20 at this golf course is exactly the golf way to go about betting him. Now we've got Rory. Okay. Let me fire these up in the background here quickly. Sorry, folks. Sorry about this. Let's get this fired up again. Okay. Rory's interesting. 11th in the model, despite his recent strokes gain metrics being second. Hasn't played yet in a while or ever. Interesting that he is playing here. I think he's trying to get back into the groove. Genesis, 24th. Didn't quite play his best golf there. Played terrible at Pebble. Not very good in that department. Let's click on Rory's name and see what we can find over here. Little cheese factory. You know, ended the... he seems to kind of get in these grooves. How did he start the year last year? I don't think well. Like the Genesis, okay, played nicely. Arnold Palmer played nicely. The players played nicely, but nothing good until like the year starts rolling. What did he get up to last year again? Farmers. Okay, got off to a really good start in 2020. In 2021, didn't have anything better than a T6, which took a while. That was like right before we got to the Florida swing. So I think the time, like, to try and catch a Rory on a good upswing is definitely now, maybe. I don't know. Okay, got one Excel file is up and running. That's good to see. To speak about Rory, though, I mean, this holy cow, this was some good golf he was playing here for a second. And then we've kind of just lost it again in the last little while. And I don't know how much he can gain off the tee at this golf course. Let's take a look and see what the most anyone has gained off the tee at the Honda Classic has been over the last little while. So off the tee, 1.25. That was the Honda. Stephan Jaeger, shout out our boy. So Jaeger gaining a total of 5 strokes on the field that year. Sepp Straka's year that he won, Sepp Straka was the leading off the tee guy and gaining 5 strokes on the field. No one really did much more than 4, Mito Pereira and Shane Lowry. If you take a look at 2021, we've got some interesting stuff. Firm Bermuda greens, Rory, yep, I agree. You know, like the ball strikers came out to play in 2021 when Matt Jones won. but only one of them finished second in the leaderboard. So like that's interesting. 2020 when Sungjae won, you're not going to be gaining tons and tons versus like at Genesis, I think you can do a bit better off the tee, all that jazz. So let's see there. I'm going to open one more file while we add it here and then go from there. The big boy. So yeah, I don't know. I've never got Rory right. I tried to bet him at the freaking, the Open last year. And of course, he's won it in the past. Didn't do anything there for us. And isn't really showing you anything right now. So that's the problem with Rory. We're obviously going to get him at ridiculously short odds. I don't see myself betting him at those numbers. I don't know. We'll have to see what happens. But it's kind of just an easy situation to kind of leave him alone. For me, DFS, who the hell knows what he comes in price-wise. We'll have to see what Rory can do. But we're speaking about him in the time of the show where things have fallen apart for us. Cool. So Russell Henley did falter. We are back in business now. And we need to open one more file, which is the betting stuff. And then we're back. And then we are fully back here. So I appreciate you guys' patience on this. Okie dokie. Betting database. 18,000 kilobits. So old Henley. See what I'm saying about the approach play? It's kind of like being there was a stint here that it wasn't quite there that we were looking for. So we'll have to see what we can get up to. And then I'm going to try and timestamp some guys quickly. So we had Jaeger. We were talking about him at 70 minutes or so. Is that when we were speaking about him? And then we spoke about Henley at 76. Okie dokie. Make sure we get that going for us here. I think he's going to be we spoke about him for top 20 there, blah, 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 all that jazz. Okay, Russell Henley. Where are you? Okay, 76 minutes in. And then we spoke about Rory for how long? 80 minutes in. Maybe 83 minutes in. Okay. And then we're back. And then we can go back to our regular paid programming here. If I can find him. I've got this stuff all backwards right now. Okay. Rory. I'm just going to search for him. Then we can go back to our stuff here. Timestamp 123. Let's call it. So what's that? 83. Okay. Okay. We lost track there, but we're back. We are back. All right, buddy. Catch you later, DT. Thanks for showing up. Appreciate it. Feel free to always pop on back with the timestamps there for any guys, you're interested in it, and we can chat about it in the Nut Hut. Okay. Let's get back into track here. So we're talking about Rory McIlroy. Obviously not too much to discuss. I think that would be a DFS situation. We can get back to that at some point. Austin Eckroat. Let's take a look at what his situation is here. He's been interesting because I think he's been like dialing it in on the greens, and his approach play has been a little backwards lately. And around the greens, he's doing weird stuff. He's doing really weird stuff. If we take a look at what the model was popping out for Austin Eckroat, boy oh boy, does it like his baseline for long irons from 175 to 200. Loves it from 150 to 175, and then the wedges. Ew. So the less wedges Eckroat has to do, like he's not a wedge guy, it seems. The putting has been bad in general on Bermuda, but the around the green play has been good. The general strokes gained approach has been good. Drives the ball nicely on these shorter courses, so the ball striking should show up. He's been playing better golf over the last little while. That was the last 24 rounds. So yeah, we've got a few missed cuts, but it is what it is. We'll see. Missed the cut, yeah. Last time, not a lot of good stuff going on for Eckroat. Approach play has been sporadic. The off the tee's been much better lately. That's good to see. What did he get up to when he missed the cut here? I'm really disappointed in my Excel. It's been causing some issues for us, yeah. Missed the cut in 2023. That's it. How did he miss? On approach. And that's the thing. Like you can lose tons and tons off the tee or on approach here because of all these hazards. Chipped his way nicely, but it just wasn't a good outing for him. He wasn't necessarily playing good golf at the time either. So that's the problem for him there. I don't know. I don't know what to make of this guy right now. I don't know what to make of him. What did he get up to at Mexico? Did he play? He played at Mexico. 38th. You know, it's just like one of the. He might be a top 40 guy. Austin Eckroat. I'm in like a million different files right now, and it's not doing well. Okay, let's pull up Eckroats and see what his like last little while worth of top 40 rates has been. We've also got to add him to the timestamp situation here. So Eckroat's top 40 rate is like 40%, which is not too shabby. It's easily his best rate. You know, top 10s, top 5s, not going to be his thing. So we'll have to just bear that in mind. Maybe he's a top 40 candidate, but the miscut here, I don't know. It is what it is. It is what it is. I'm not going to spend too much more time on him. I think a much more interesting proposition is Adam Svensson, who, off the tee, plays nicely at these kind of golf courses. The distance from the edge of the fairway is the smallest number. So that's good to see there. You know, the 118 reflects a number that's smaller than everyone else's. So I think it's rewarding a big number in that ranking, which will get figured out. But the approach numbers from 175 to 200, fantastic. 125 to 150, fantastic. Again, these middle buckets, very weird from him there. But in general, the strokes gained approach from 100 to 250, very nice to see. 7th in the field. Chipping and putting is his issue, but he's so solid on the ball striking front. The bogey avoidance rates are pretty darn good. Had a T9 here last year, I think at like plus 750. He suits these kind of golf courses really well, especially where you kind of have to just keep your ball in play. He's not necessarily the very best off the tee distance-wise. He's just solid when it comes to keeping his ball in play right into those long iron ranges, and then he goes from there'll be a definite consideration for a what is Svensson's magic recipe for his betting situation here? Oh boy, let's pull him up and see. Not anything. Hasn't been a profitable bet on Svensson over the last 12 months. That's not good to see, but it is what it is. He's obviously, I don't think he won recently either, so that's kind of just how it is for Svensson. Sony T30 missed the cut at the Farmers, 47th. Then he played nicely at Riv, where he played well at in the past. So that's good to see. The RSM Classic golf courses he plays well at, and those are all kind of long iron centric golf courses. He's not necessarily his wedges are good, but that 150 to 170, he's like very good from 175 to 200. So I think Svensson for a top 20, maybe a top 40, the way to go. Yeah, we really haven't had a guy that's popped up that I'm like thrilled about yet. Outside of Henley top 20, outside of maybe a Sigg top 40, Poston and Hoge. I guess the top of the board, we had some names we liked. Akshay. Not going to show driver that much at this golf course. Hasn't had a top 10 this year. He's a wedge savant, short wizard savant, and then the longer it gets, the worse he plays. So he's not a long iron guy, apparently, strokes gained, but he's not too shabby when it gets inside 175. So that's Akshay's situation. In fact, I want to just pull that up. Let's see what his. We're like jumping all over the place here, but hey, it is what it is. Also got to pull Akshay up here for the timestamp when that shows up. Okay, so over 200, the good shot rate. That's the thing for him. Not too shabby. Gets better from, and then the wedges. What the heck is going on here over the last 12 months? Interesting. So that's the thing, but I think it must be better since the last little while from the fairway. Maybe from that's where he really shines. He's out the rough. So that's his thing. He's just so sporadic, this dude. He's got green and red and all sorts of stuff. So we'll see what Akshay gets up to. Is this as coastal as you'd like for him? I don't know. The around the green play has been very good for him lately. That's nice to see. The putting on Bermuda, he likes that a lot. And the bogey avoidance in the recent form has been not too shabby. I mean, 13th at the Farmers was good. That was nice to see from him. We'll see what happens. I don't know. I've just never liked Akshay. I don't think he pops in these models so hard, but it's just like just never gets it done. Like if we pull up his stuff here, you'll see there's also just like it's the weekends. He just doesn't get it done for us. But in the Bahamas, that's his thing. Like that's where he plays his best golf. The Century, the Sony in Hawaii, those kind of golf courses. Missed the cut at the American Express, played nicely at the Farmers, putted lights out for us. The putting has shown up. Then the waste management, he lost strokes putting, lost strokes on it. Just completely did not show up there. Was not available. Akshay was not available at the waste management, but it was cold. I mean, that guy's a little string bean. Anything he gets too cold is like might shrivel out of his own skin. So Akshay's situation, has he played here in the past? Yes, he did. 49th. Approached the hell out of it. So that's good to see. So maybe. But if you take a look at Akshay's top 10 rate, 4% in the last 24 rounds of golf. Like, it's not good. And that was the Mexico Open last year. That's it. That's the thing. Like, there's no ups. Like, he's just not showing up. The 13th, the 14th, that's his thing. 10th. So maybe if you're looking to bet Akshay, you want to kind of bet him in a market that's not nearly as upside related. But I can't give you the answer there. I don't think I'm thrilled about him at all. Akshay's situation when it comes to betting top 20s, that's the way you bet him. He's gained you $4. So maybe we bet him top 40, top 20. I guess top 20 here isn't the worst thing in the world. He did finish 49th here and ball struck the crap out of it. Now he's gone to the broomstick. I think we can expect maybe a top 20 from Akshay. But don't be surprised if he disappoints you. Brendon Todd showing up in the model here in 15th. I like Todd as a top 40 bet potentially. I don't like him as any other than that. I don't know about his upside. I don't know about his ability to win a golf tournament either. So let's talk about Akshay at hour 34, which is 94 minutes. And bring up Brendon Todd, who broke his driver at the Century. So Brendon Todd, 52% of the time finishes inside the top 40. You're going to get that from Todd. You're absolutely going to get that from Todd. But you're not going to be able to see anything else from there. That's the problem with him. He's only finished inside the top 5, 4% of the time. That's exactly the same as Akshay. It hasn't been what he does. If you take a look at his recent performances, 48th here in 2022. That's his only start here. And then we got at Pebble, 58th, at the Waste Management, 22nd, at the Genesis, 31st. There's no like upside on this guy. No upside. In the last little while, we have had nothing better than a top 20 since the Butterfield. That's not good. Had a top 6 at the 40net. Had a top 7 at the Wyndham. But over the last little while, we haven't had anything better than a top 20. It has been some tough fields. I understand that. But even at courses like the Sony, where he should have thrived, at Pebble, where he should have thrived, hasn't had it. The total strokes gained has not been good. The approach play has been average. The putting has been come and go. Gas station-like. So that's Brendon Todd for you. Obviously, the ball speed. Jesus. Jake Knapp is he's like breaking the speed limit in difference between Todd, ball speed wise. The difference in ball speed between Jake Knapp and Brendon Todd would break speed limits in most residential areas. Like, ugh. And this is like, I don't know. So maybe he can thrive here, but I don't know about Todd. What did he do when he played here? I'm going to start getting to the point where there's guys I just don't even want to deep dive. Where he gained him out of all places, that's where he had his top 10. Just the most bizarre profile. I don't know. I think his family was out there for that week. So, yeah. Lost on approach at this golf course. Lost off the tee. Putted lights out. That's what you get from Brendon Todd. That's a recipe for another made cut, potentially, and a disappointing top outside the top 40s finish. The approach play has been terrible pretty much since they left Hawaii, I guess. Hasn't been good. The driver obviously just going to be losing every single round. Then you get all the short game. That's just not a recipe to win tournaments. So I'm out on him. I don't think I'm even touching him at all. Can't do this guy. Cannot do him. Can't believe I spent this long speaking about him as well. Okie dokie. Keith Mitchell. Did we get to my first outright pick tomorrow yet? Matthieu. Let's take a peek. Pavon. You think he wins again? So he's obviously limited when it comes to some stats. Guy hasn't played hardly. Got a first and a third in his last 5 starts. Shocker. Matthieu. Let's pull him up here round by round. He seemed longest in the world, this golf course. Very good putter, very good scrambler. Can dial it in when it matters on the iron side of things. Look at these starts on the DP World Tour. That looked good. Matthieu. It's been good, hey? Holy cow. This guy's just showed up and balled out. I can't believe he didn't play at the Genesis. Maybe he was just moving his life from France to America. Maybe he had to do that because he's now a staple. With the win, he's a staple. Finished third at Pebble. Approach was, whew. Kev, I like it. What do you think Matthieu comes in at? Yeah, 2 wins in his last 10 starts. And you DP World Tour guys know. You know him. Where's his other win? I must not have it in here. Did he win? Pavon. Yeah, the Akashiono Open de Espana. Wow. Putted nicely. That's his thing. Dude, this guy can putt, man. And now the approach play, since he's come to America, it's been dialed. Absolutely dialed. So, yeah. I mean, why the hell not go back to him? Seriously, the guy is not worried about winning. He'll just win when he feels like it. Third at Pebble. I mean, he could have won back-to-back if there was another round. I love him, dude. I agree with you. I think that's a great call. I also am sad we don't have any outright odds that we can bet on. 40-1, yeah, I think we could see that. You know, the disrespect in these markets for some of these unknown guys can sometimes really ring through, but I wouldn't be surprised if it's sitting around 30 or so, hey? That's probably the range for him. So we'll see what comes through. But yeah, I kind of kind of dig Pavon. Just looking, I mean, holy cow. It's been a string of top 10s, just no matter where he's played. So maybe that's a good bet, is a top 10 bet for him for sure. He's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 top 10s in his 1, 2, 3, 4. Last 11 starts. So yeah, top 10 is on the cards for sure. I think I'll probably be riding there with you, dude. It seems like this course suits his game much better than the Farmers even. What is this golf course like? This minus 23. Jesus, he won by 4 strokes. How do we see? Oh, we can't go and look at. Geez, like I don't know. Like, I mean, it just seems like he played so nicely at this golf course to get to minus 23 that we won't be seeing that year, but he also won the Farmers, which wasn't that deep of a, it was a much more difficult golf course. So yeah, there's not a lot to speak about here. It's just great. He's just playing great golf. He's just playing great golf. Sign him. Sign us up there, bud. I totally agree with you. Sign us the hell up. All right, let's get out of the way here and go to our next guy. Keith Mitchell. You want to hear about a disappointing individual? Just pull up Keith Mitchell. Keith Mitchell finished 19th. Keith Mitchell has not had a top 5 on the PGA Tour in the last 12 months. So round 1, he starts his tournament with a complete disaster. He started on hole 10, went 3 over par in the first 3 holes. Fought back, level par. Round 2, what does he get up to? Shoots a 68, plays some solid golf, gains a casual 2.3 strokes. Round 3, starts gaining some serious steam, looking like he's going to charge up the leaderboard with a bogey-free 65. Round 4, makes a double on 10, kind of totally derails his thing. One of the best drivers of the golf ball in the field hits it obviously in the water, loses a stroke off the tee. Womp, womp. When it matters most, Keith Mitchell doesn't have it. Does not have it. Look at this approach play. Just dialed. But it's been great all week, it seems. I mean, the guy was doing all the right stuff. Doing it all. What? Yeah, here's Keith. Scott Stallings missed the cut. Finished the second best in the guys that made the cut, Keith Mitchell. Solid off the tee. Not nearly as good as we'd expect, but still pretty solid. But around the green play, bad. Putting, probably bad too for Keith. So that's the problem. And if you take a look at what Keith Mitchell's like historical stats are, he just does not bring the heat for you. He's a round 1 guy. He's a round 4 guy, I would imagine. Started speaking about Keith what at it. 146, an hour 46 is a casual 106 minutes. So Keith Mitchell, no top 5s. His top 20 rate is 4% more than his top 10 rate. So when he's a top 10, he's basically, when he's a top 20, he's basically top 10ing, but then has a 43% top 40 rate. So that's probably the way you want to bet Keith Mitchell. I don't think we're going to see any profitability from him here, though. He's just, yeah, it's a loss across the board. And the market knows the top 20 rate is disastrous. Like $458 lost betting to win $100 on Keith Mitchell for the last 12 months. It's just not a good bet. People love him. It's weird. Like, he's not going to win a golf tournament either. He just doesn't have what it takes, in my opinion. It's weird. It's very, very weird. And if we pull up Mitchell here, I'm just telling you, I'm not even going to pull up everything because I just know Keith Mitchell is in no capacity going to be on my card. What has he done here in the past? T9, miscut, T53. That's his thing. Look at this. Just allergic to upside. He seems like he should. I mean, look at the approach play has been great per round. I mean, the heck is going on here? So Keith can do it. Been playing good golf, but it's just not what you're looking for from Keith. Just not what you're looking for. Lucas Glover's next up. That's an interesting name. I know I bet him at the Sony to win. This tournament, I guess we're starting to get to some interesting. Bezzy's going to be absolutely. We'll be betting Bezzy for sure. The Glover at 110. Lucas Glover has not been playing very good lately. Has not been playing very well lately. I have no idea. The putting has gone backwards. We thought we fixed it with the broomstick, and it really hasn't changed. So that's not good. But also on Poa, you never know. You never know. I mean, it seemed like maybe, but where he changed it at the, maybe he just needs to change stuff all the time. That's maybe his thing. Because what? He probably changed his putter right around this range, and then kind of went on to win the Wyndham, won the FedEx St. Jude. The approach play has been lackluster as well. Like what he did, he withdrew from the waste management because he didn't read the book right, didn't read his tee time right on the text message. So I don't know what to do with this guy. He hasn't shown us anything good lately. We are back on these greens where he's typically putted better. I think on Bermuda, it looks like. I don't know. Putted like shit in 2022, but 2021, he played very nicely on the greens. Missed the cut in 2020, putted nicely again in 2020 in 19. He's like got some potential. Is it like, what are his Bermuda splits? Hello, Phoebes. My baby. So we got Lucas Glover on, not good putting on these Bermuda greens anyway. So that's the thing. You got to decide. What do you think you're going to get from Glover? We're going to get some good putting, or we're going to get some bad putting. And lately it hasn't been good. The jump from Poa to Bermuda doesn't seem like it's going to help us that much either. That's the thing with Glover. It's like there may be guys that had really bad Poa splits that could have figured their stuff out for us once they get to Bermuda, but I don't think Glover's that guy. The ball striking is insane. If you go back to his like baseline stuff, it hasn't been very good lately. Like the more we scroll, it starts getting bad pretty much since the Sony. Like this year has not been consistent at all. So come, jump. So putting needs to get it figured out. But even in what's Hawaii? Bermuda grass didn't figure it out there either. So we can move on from Glover. He ain't the guy this week for me, I don't think. Ryan Moore is very intriguing. He suits this golf course really well, although he's missed 2 cuts here. Interesting. Let's pull him up because he's an interesting top 40 kind of a guy, or a cheap DFS play to kind of just get you through to the weekend. He seems like he'd suit this golf course really nicely. If you think about the Butterfield, the RSM, these kind of courses he's thrived at in the past, the shorter positional tracks, but doesn't seem like he's supposed to be playing very bad golf this year. Has not made a cut in any of the 4 starts he's played in, and it's been very bad, particularly at the American Express. So it seems like he's getting it together to a degree since, but it still hasn't been very good. What on earth has he been up to at this venue? Like, why hasn't he played? He's just never played well here. It's been around the green. He can't scramble around here. That's not good at all. So I don't know what to do with this guy, because it seems like the course likes, like he should should dial up some approach numbers from 125 to 175, like to a massive degree. Maybe he's worth a gamble. If you get like plus 500 for a top 40 or plus 350 or something for a top 40, Ryan Moore might be that guy. But that's about it. I think he's a high leverage option. I don't know if I'm thrilled about anything he presents outside of that. The recent form is just atrocious. Like, quite bad. But it's... And that's the thing. The last 24 rounds, it shows you it's not too bad. But this year, it has been bad. Because we got some really good performances at the RSM, at the Butterfield. But the break broke him. Like, he hasn't shown up since. I mean, what? We've lost strokes in all but 2 of the last 9 rounds. And they were barely gaining. So I'm out. I'm just out on Ryan Moore in general. Don't have to like everyone that we do on the show. And we're not. So we're going to say Ryan Moore at an hour, just short of 2 hours. We're going to be out on him. Putting on down here. To Mark Hubbard. We broke our hearts. Look at this. 48th. What on earth, dude? I'm going to take a second here to pull this dude up here. Pull up Mark Hubbard. Round 1, 69. Okay, whatever. Round 2, fires it up. Gains 5.3 strokes. Dials it up. 65. Let's go. Just disastrous. Round 3, 73 over 2 over par, 72, 1 over par in round 4. Like, what? Approach play gained, like he couldn't putt. He forgot how to putt. And then he forgot how to hit an iron. Must have hit 1 or 2 in the water. I mean, he lost 2.6 strokes on approach in round. I mean, Mark, that changed our entire week. Top 20, matchup against Cam Champ. Like, he was looking good and then just complete. I just don't think he's a serious golfer. I love him. He's a cool personality, but just not a serious golfer, if you ask me. So let's look at his situation. He cashes top 20s. We bet him for a top 20. And you'll see now he's like top 20 numbers are pretty darn good. Does it a lot, but not this week. And that's what's so frustrating. 1 in every 4 times he cashes a top 20 in the last 12 months. But not this week, unfortunately. So what has Mark Hubbard done at this golf course? Is there even a reason to dive into his stuff? Yeah, there is. Oh my God, he's gonna be quite popular here again, I think, this week. But maybe after a poor week last week, we can see. Why? I just hate having to dive into this guy because he just hurt us so bad. I was looking so good. Play good golf over the weekend. Okie dokie, Mark. On your marks, get set. Stop not responding. Yeah. There we go. All right. So Mark Hubbard, AT&T Pebble Beach, he finished 4th. Farmers Insurance, 20th. So that was good. But either side of that has been a 47th and a 53rd. Not necessarily the best. And then had another dud. So is he losing his stuff? At the Honda, 2023, 42nd. In 2022, 15th. 46th in 2021 and 11th in 2020. And then before that, he missed the cut in 2017, which, whatever. What did he get up to? So, did not play necessarily very well entering the week at the Honda in 2023, and then finished 46th, 42nd. And the putting, again, lost strokes putting, 1.5 strokes putting. The iron play has been solid. I mean, it's been very good, actually, since the Farmers. Yeah, he's gaining over a stroke per round on approach. And, I mean, it's all ranges that he plays well from. It's all ranges that he plays well from. So that's the thing. Can I move this? No. Okay. Yeah. So this is the thing with him, man. It's like, what have you shown me lately? And it's like frustrating. It's very frustrating. Very frustrating from us. I've just like he sucked the whole vibe out of the show because he really screwed the pooch. We bet $100 on breaking 100, and he cost us 23 of them. We were overexposed to him too much, and I'm disappointed in myself for putting ourselves in that situation. And now we go to a golf course that he's finished in the top 20 twice in the last 4 times, top 46 every single time. So maybe we kind of just eye him out for a top 40, which he does about half the time. So if we find a plus money top 40 on him, we're in. That's about it. Mark Hubbard's only finished inside the top 5 in 3% of his starts. So he's not an outright guy at all. Denny McCarthy has not been playing well. Hasn't finished inside the top 20 since the farm, like in the recent weeks. So let's pull up Denny's stuff. Interesting. I wonder when he's going to start playing good golf again, or if he just has decided not to. Happy third hour of the show. 121 timestamp. Show me some love in the chat here, folks. I'm struggling. I'm not going to lie. It was Mrs. Maniac's birthday party on Saturday, so today is a bit of a grind. We've been struggling to get sleep the last little while because we had our anniversary for 6 years. We had Mrs. Maniac's birthday. We had friends in town. It's just been a busy time. Denny McCarthy. I think we're going to start skipping over names that I'm not a fan of, but I'm also starting to get to like Benny On. Definitely going to play Benny On this week. Dirty Denny. Not good. Denny McCarthy hasn't finished inside the top 5 very much in the last 12 months, but he's been finishing inside the top 40 like a complete beast, as you can see here. It's been pretty much automatic in the top 40 market for the last little while. Had a good run there in the middle of the summer. So we like Denny for a top 40, but it's just not showing too much else. Driver has been really bad. Pretty much since the century, we have not seen. It's been bad. Wow, it's been bad. Like if you go back to the Open Championship, we're losing half a stroke per round with the driver, which wasn't the case. It wasn't as bad as this. It's got very bad. Like this is bad. This is bad, folks. And the putter has been coming and going. He's been losing strokes on the greens, which the putter's he's lost it. It seems like. Poor Denny. What's Denny been up to at this golf course? So Mr. Katja last year, T3 2021, T30 2022, sorry. Miss in the 3 years before 2021. Let me just rephrase that because that would be a disaster. 2021, he finished 3rd. 2022, he finished 30th. Missed the cuts in the 3 events before that at the Honda. But he putted well. He putted well those last 2 years. In 2023, last year, missed the cut because he putted badly and hit a bunch of balls probably in the water. So I don't know what to do with this. I don't think it's going to be a winning ticket for Denny. Maybe a top 40 if we get some plus money. I think that would be an interesting option. He's not necessarily playing the best golf, but he's kind of scrapping it around and making cuts still. So that's what's going on with Denny's life. It's sad to see. Like, it's not the best, but I think a nice top 40 bet potentially at plus money is the way to go for Denny, which he does a lot. And I mean, even the top 20s, he started rattling off, but recently we haven't seen too much of that at all. So we'll see what gets up with Denny McCarthy. I mean, we back on Bermuda, maybe that helps, like a change of surface helps him out a bit. We'll have to see. But yeah, it's not good. Like the iron play is not looking good. Drives the ball better on these shorter courses. But yeah, the upside's lacking from the boy. Speaking about upside and not lacking, it's Benny On. Although the recent form has been a bit rough. Let's pull up his stuff round by round and take a look at Benny On. And let's take a second here, folks. And the thumbnail of this video, if you're watching on YouTube, is freaking awesome. It's freaking awesome. I mean, look at this. Look at this. Benny On solo. Benny On solo. It's sick. So we got the bear trap, right? This is the course with the bear trap. So this is where Benny On has played some good golf in the past. We saw a T16 from him over here last year. Pull up Benny On's name so we can pull up his finishing position percentages and such. Top 40, pretty solid in this field. We started speaking about Benny On, what? Hour 23? Hour 24? 23. Second at the Sony, fourth at the Century, and then kind of has not shone since then. The putter has been the issue. Is it the POA or is it the Bermuda that we like Benny On? I would imagine the Bermuda is a better surface for this guy. It seems that way. The approach play has been all over the place. The driver has been a little inconsistent. This is what we're getting from with Benny On. I don't know. We'll have to see what he can do for us. But his upside, like a top 5 for Benny On, is exactly where you want to bet this dude. Let's pull his betting stats up here to see exactly how that works. I'm pretty sure it's going to be one of the best there is. In fact, I'm actually just going to clear this and just do top 5s. Look where he is. It's his best stat. He's got this massive volatility of his, where he finishes inside the top 5 17% of the time. And he finishes top 20 30% of the time. So it's like when your top 5 is half the rate of your top 20, that's good. That's like really, really good upside. It's very good upside. And it shows you in his stats. He's good across the board apart from, the top 20 stuff. He's boom or bust in that department. So I definitely think a top 5 at this golf course doesn't scream no to me. We've seen him pop. We've seen him do his thing. Last year, he finished 21st year, and he putted nicely. Actually putted really nice on this course. Lost a bit on approach, but had one really good round. Interesting. Prior to that, he's got a 4th place and a 5th place year. A miscut in a T36. So he's got the ability to pop at this golf course, and he likes it. Like, his iron play has been pretty darn good around here. I think he's lost strokes on approach twice before 2023, and then showed up and he's averaging a stroke per round around this golf course on approach. So he's very comfortable when it comes to that. Off the tee, it was to be desired in that department. But recently, the off the tee stuff has been great. I mean, look at this column over here. It's just green for days until the last little while. It's kind of been a little more inconsistent. We've started missing out on some stuff. So that's the thing. When does he bounce back? Potentially could be this week. I think it's a good course for him. I wonder if we get a good number on Benny On. I don't know. If you take a look at his stuff here, solid from 150 and out. That's his range. 21st and 26th from 150 to 175 and 175 to 200. And he's so tidy around the greens. He's really good around the greens and has been playing some iffy up and down golf lately. I don't mind him. Maybe we get a good number on him. And the top 5 will definitely be in the cards for sure. Maybe we bet him each way or whatever. I like it. I like it a lot. Benny On. Whew. I'm struggling. We might not make it to 2.5 hours even this week. Chesson Hadley. Okay. We're going to do some rapid fire if we're feeling it this way. Pull up Hadley. 2 hours, 9 minutes into the show. We've got Chesson Hadley. So that is a casual 130. Chesson, no top fives. 10% of the time inside the top 10. So that's what you're going to get from Chesson. I don't necessarily think he's anything other than a top 45 bet. That's what his signature situation is. 24th, 25th in his two of his last 3 starts. Finished at 29th the last time he played here. So that to me is the way to bet Chesson Hadley is a top 40. That's it. Like the upside is non-existent. The around the green play is great. The bogey avoidance rate's great. He can scramble. He's very good at putting. But he's a really good wedge player, I guess. So that's good to see. The around the green play is very bad. The putting is very good. So we'll see what he can get up to. But yeah, just not necessarily doing that much for me. Justin Rose, let's chat about Justin Rose because he can be disappointing at times. He hasn't been playing good golf lately. And I think if we pull up Rose's stuff here, we've got to make sure we're grabbing everything for his profile. Well, he's only been playing on the PGA. 11th at the AT&T Pebble where he won last year. And outside of that, it hasn't been good. He's been gaining just barely. The distance is interesting. He's starting to hit it out there a bit, it seems. But didn't play well at the Sony. The approach play has been bad pretty much the whole time. And with approach play being very important this week, I don't know about. I know about Darbo. I'm struggling, dude. It's been a tough few days. I need to make sure I'm recharged for the week. I got lots of exciting stuff coming up. Be jumping on the Pat Mayo show on Tuesday again, talking some best bets. So that's why we're doing this tonight, making sure we're ready for that show. Find out on Wednesday if I won any of the FSWA nominations. Lots of fun stuff. Lots of fun stuff in the week to come. What are we doing? We are looking at Justin Rose's situation round by round because I think his problem is not necessarily just poor iron play. It's a poor round of iron play. Oh boy. It's been up and down. Got lots of red boxes. It's got lots of green boxes. I mean, he broke the course record at Plantation Course at Kapalua to finish 40th. Like, please tell me who on this planet has ever broken a course record and only finished 40th in a 50 or 60-man field. Like, that's not good. But since then, he's been playing better, but not necessarily great. You know, the irons have been substandard. But there's been 3 really bad rounds. If you take away those 3 big rounds, we're gaining 3/4 of a stroke. The putting has been good. It's been much better. Solid on Poa, it seems, and Bermuda. So I don't know what to do with Justin Rose. His top 5 rate in the last while has not been existing. So he doesn't finish inside the top of the leaderboard. Oh boy, you got a respiratory virus, Darbo. I know my throat's also like, and we were sitting in like a limo last night. You know, our limo's like a cesspool of germs. Gross. So that's good for us. But yeah, we'll have to see. So I don't know about Justin Rose. What has he done here at this golf course? Missed the cut in 2020. That was the last time he played here. So I'm just kind of out on him. I don't know. There's not a lot going on. He's good at scrambling, all that jazz. So be it. Let's talk about someone we actually care about and actually think is playing some good golf and actually moving in the right direction. And that is Christiaan Bezuidenhout. First, we've got to put a timestamp on Justin Rose. Our Excel's freezing on us again. Why? The computer's just not agreeing with us. Oh, because we had stuff selected. Woo! We are struggling. We're on the struggle bus, yeah. But Darbo's keeping me he's keeping me in the driver's seat, yeah. Let's look at Bezzy. Bezzy boy. See some green in this approach. Into the around the green. He's so good. And now he not. Let's pull him up here. Busy doing his thing. Okay. Good for us. Hour 24. Busy besotted. So we've got a 24th, the 28th, the 20th, like 3 consecutive top 30s there, just not showing up. Off the tee, that's his problem. No distance at all. And he refuses. He just refuses to do it. But boy, oh boy, is he be playing some good golf. I mean, we've seen some really impressive golf from this guy. I actually had some stuff on Power BI a while ago, and it's just, if it's not like, I was doing some stuff and it takes up a lot of memory on the computer as well. But I'm all about it. I will get there at some point. I mean, also, there's a lot going on. There's a lot going on with me. I might be not even like using my own stuff going forward. I might be using other things. We'll see. I don't know how much time I want to invest in all of that stuff right now. So the Honda Classic for Bez, I think he was playing quite nicely until he wasn't. Let's take a look here. So in 2023, he gained a casual 5.5 strokes or so in 2 rounds, but also lost 2.5 strokes. It's like whatever. And then I think in 2022, had a similar situation. He's been playing some good golf, had 1 bad round again. Bounced back in round 4. So he likes this golf course. If he can just avoid 1 or 2 bad rounds, he's definitely in the mix for a top 40 bet is Bezzy's way to go about it. I mean, take a look at his last 25 rounds. He's doing a top 40 44% of the time. The rest of his other stats are 16% of the time he's top 20. So it's easily like 30% more to top 40. And you're typically trying to see a double. Like you want to see guys double those rates, like halve each one of the next bucket. And he doesn't do it. He's like triple it. So top 40, he's a safe guy. Doesn't have a lot of upside, in my opinion, despite the approach play that has been scintillating lately. I mean, take a look at this stuff. Get a little bit of a gap here when we go play some Euro Tour stuff. And then we show up, and the last 13 rounds of golf, he's averaging 1.3 strokes on approach. If we take away the Amex in round 4, he holed out from the fairway. If we take away this incredible round for round 1 at Scottsdale, we're still averaging around a stroke per round. So there's a lot going on with Bezzy. The thing concerning is, like, what has his situation been? Why is he losing strokes around the green again? Because he used to be so good. Like, take a look at his career summary here. It used to be his strength, like totally gaining around the green. Maybe I don't know. I don't know what to make of it. It's been bad. Like, it's not been good. And we're going to see a lot more of it again this week. So the putting spikes, that's the fun part about him now, is the approach play and the putting is like spiking. But it's the around the green play that is massively concerning and off the tee, which at this golf course, potentially not that big of a deal. The top 40 for Bezzy is definitely on the cards. The general approach play has been great. The putting on Bermuda. Maybe we see some nice Bermuda putting from Bezzy this week. I don't think he played in the Sony. I don't think we've seen any stuff from Bezzy on Bermuda yet. Have we? It's all been POA. So, yeah, that's exciting. Maybe we get some, or maybe he putted nicely, I guess, on the American Express, which was maybe Bermuda. We'll see. So maybe a top 40 for Bezzy. Definitely some DFS other stuff there in cash games. I would not mind Bezzy at all. Let's go. Brandon Hu finished 13th at the Mexico, kind of backdoored his way in there. I think that also hurt. He was very popular. And then He wasn't playing well. I think he barely made the cut. And he just backed, I guess, 69, whatever. So I don't know. Don't know what to do with this guy either. He's not too shabby when it comes to non-designated events and courses he plays well at in the past. What is Brandon Wu's situation? I'm going to start now after this, just going down this board and just seeing guys I really want to look into because I'm getting tired. Okay. Taylor Montgomery, this is not, I don't know about this course. Water and Taylor Montgomery don't go well together. I've got like a million files open. My computer's not doing the right stuff for me. It's just driving me insane. I'm getting bitchy. Dobbo. Ugh. Like I'm clicking and just buttons don't want to work. So that is what it is. Okay. Yeah. I don't know. That's the thing. And then the further away you get, the worse it kind of gets for him. He's a great putter and he's great around the greens. Bogey avoidance is solid. First time he's going to be playing here. We've got random performances from him over the last little while. We'll have to see. We spoke about what? Brandon Wu. Did we even really speak about Brandon Wu? What does he do well? Long irons and just a pretty good approach play in general. And finished 14th here in 2023. So maybe he's like showing some form. What is Brandon Wu's like betting card situation? Not really any particular. The stuff you're looking for makes worse. Ugh, yuck. Okay. Not good. Loses money in every category, betting wise. I don't know about Brandon Wu either. Don't know about him. What has he been up to? The approach play has been like trending, which is good. What did he get up to in approach? Not the best at the Mexico. Ugh. Okay. So yeah, Montgomery, I don't know. I don't know about this golf course for him. Too much water, too many mid to long irons for him. It's not his jam. The putting, though, you never know. Maybe some DFS showdown stuff. Let's talk about Luke List, who just dominates these shorter golf courses off the tee for some reason, and then is just a really good approach player in general. Not necessarily from any of these buckets. And finished second at the Genesis, obviously. Has never made a cut at this venue. For the last little while. He's been playing good golf, though. I mean, he almost won the Genesis and finished second here. It's just this guy. It's when he putts well, he gets it together. Oh, my God. Performances since. Missed the cut at the Players last year. You know, like, I don't know what the hell this guy does. Just shows up when he feels like it. We've seen some bad putting at the Sony when we were on him to win the tournament. And then we've seen some better putting again in the last little while. What is he like on Bermuda? What is the approach play going to do? This guy's interesting. He's interesting. I think it's all number dependent. I mean, he's starting to trend. Like, do you bet the guy when he's trending? He's a good iron player. The irons look good at Riv. Long irons into Riv. Seems like it makes sense. This week's going to be the same situation. I like him. I like Luke List. Let's give him a timestamp. 222. So what's that? 142. Okay, Luke. I see you, bro. I don't know if I'm going to bet your ass, but I see you. This to me seems like a golf course I'd like to play Troy Merritt at, for sure. But it's all the scrambling, it's all the putting. He's a good long iron player compared to his wedges. Not a very good wedge player. I guess the distance off the tee is a big factor for him, which you won't have to worry about this week. I love Troy Merritt. Guy replied to me, told us he had the yips. That's very cool. But he's not really shown us much lately. Mexico, okay, finished what, 58th or so. So that's what's going on there. The approach plays like shining. It's like what? Coming through this like West Coast swing is also just a nightmare because there's just so much missing information. Played nicely at the Sony, but has missed the cuts pretty much every single time. Why? Why? It's been approach. It's been off the tee. Coming. The putting seems better, which has always held him back. Maybe we take a gamble on him. I don't know if I'll bet him to win, but DFS for sure. I'm sure he'll be cheap. Troy Merritt, 226, 145. Okay. Let's go down here and actually see. Jake Knapp in the house. I don't know if he goes back to back. I don't know if this golf course suits his game. Congrats, brother. So happy for this guy. Can't believe he won today. This golf course seems like it should suit Corey Connors. Just from a Chris Kirk. Like if Chris Kirk played well, yeah, Corey Connors should, but I don't think Corey Connors got as good a around the green play as Chris Kirk does. And he hasn't been playing well. He's been playing average. We are not making it much longer than what we are, yeah, folks. I'm sorry. I'm struggling. Justin Lower, good long iron player. Played night. I mean, look at this. He finished third at Mexico, which is good to see. He's moving in the right direction. 64th year last year, 2 years ago. We'll see what he can get up to. I mean, this guy could be streaky. What's he been up to the last little while? That was his best performance at a course that suits his game quite nicely. The approach play, look at the approach numbers. Wow. That looks nice, Justin. Look at these approach numbers, bro. Very, very nice. Oh, by the way, I bet the numbers got all these approach. It's got all the strokes gain stuff in here already. Just saying. Get a free week to start. Putted nicely. Hasn't been putting well at all. So putted nicely on the pass pattern, it seems. What is his splits like on Bermuda? Where were we with this guy? Justin Lower. Yeah. If we click on putting, does it give us anything? So he's not a very good putter on Bermuda. Ooh, look at this. This is what I need to be doing more often. Okay. So yeah. Okay. I feel you, bro. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see what the putting gets up to. How did he putt you the last time he played? If we pull that up, does it tell us? Click it. No, it doesn't. Okay. Still learning a few things, yeah. Let's pull it up over here, see what Justin Lower's situation is. Good stuff today from him. Third is good. Okie dokie. Let us scroll. Let us scroll. Let us scroll. Let us scroll. There we go. Justin Lower. I lost it on the look at. But figure it out. Take a look here. Got some typos. The World Putting League. What? What? The World Putting League? Let me look this up. What are you talking about? There's a World Putting League. The World Putting League tees off in 2024 season with a 3-part Survivor Series on Pineapple Course. On the Pineapple Course at the Hawaiian Village in Myrtle Beach. What on earth is going on here? What is this? Is it mini putt? Who are these? Betting guide. Is there a betting? There's outright hole bets, individual holes, total hole in ones. This allows you to bet the total hole in ones, lowest score, event format, Survivor Series, preliminary rounds, wildcard entries, final on 2nd of April. What on earth is going on here? You can watch it live on the World Putting League website, it looks like. 12 competitors, 3 events, 1 champion. Who the hell are these people? Tim Talley. Don't tell me that's not a real person. Just so you know, Lowe has the same start as Lowry when saying it. Just so you know, Lauer has the same start. Justin Lauer, sure. Whatever, Dobbo. Thank you. But spelled lower, okay? PGS power, Lauer. I don't know. Anyway, episode 2, Joey Graybeal. All I'm saying, Jesus, Kev, get it together. Get it together. All right, let's get back to our regular programming here. We are losing track. Sean. Erik van Rooyen around the greens at this golf course is going to be a no-go for me, despite how well he's playing right now. I like it, but not at this golf course. I think Ben Griffin is a definite candidate for a golf course like this. If you take a look at what he's been up to, let's go back to the custom model. And I think we've got to click on the actual strokes gain box, and then it pulls up what we want to see. Yeah, I guess if I'm telling you how to say Potgieter, but that's because you don't know how to say Potgieter. I know how to say Lauer, but I just don't say it, okay? Because lower is what I'm reading. But I appreciate you holding me accountable. Ben Griffin around the green. He's a around the green wizard. That's typically where he does his stuff. The approach play has been lackluster. But he finished 21st year last year. And he gained off the tee. He gained around the greens. He gained putting. So, like, this is it. You don't know how to say Lauer or Doherty? Is it Doherty? That's Doherty. Kevin Doherty. By the way, played nicely for us. So Ben Griffin's in the mix, folks. Absolutely. I think this golf course suits him quite nicely. I think a T40 for Griffin is the way to go. And about the upside, Griff, not Lanto, but Ben. Yeah, Ben Griffin, 53% top 40 rate, 13% top 20 rate. Bredo, Doherty, Doherty, Doherty. It's Doherty. I had a guy back in South Africa. His name was Dylan Doherty. Anyway, we're trying to argue pronunciations here between an American and a South African on a British or Irish last name. We've lost the plot here, folks. We have lost the plot. Back to Ben Griffin, top 40. Yes. Ben Griffin, top 40. He does nothing else well. It's just top 40s or bust for Ben Griffin. So bet him for a top 40, call it a day. I mean, take a look at this. Top 37, top 28, top 21 in the last 2 starts, and then finished 21st year in 2023. Boom, boom, boom. Okay. Moving on. Nico Echevarria. You lost about 15 yawns ago. Yeah, I know. I appreciate you guys hanging around. CT Pan is due for a WD after playing really well and finishing third. Maverick McNeely putting around the green play, accuracy. I mean, no, that's not good accuracy. That's bad accuracy. But not a good approach player when it comes to wedges. I don't know. We've just got these blah guys. Like, what on earth, Mav? Like, what are you doing? It's all putting for him. Obviously, he hasn't lost strokes putting in the year, basically. Missed the cut in 21, finished 11th in 2020. So, like, and he's playing good. Finished 6th and 13th in his last two starts. How did he gain 3.6 strokes off the tee in Mexico? How is he gaining that amount of strokes off the tee? Is he a distance guy now? Now that he's healthy? Yeah. He's averaging over 300 yards in 52 drives. Why did Joohyung Kim have an extra drive than everybody? Did he hit one out of town? Oh boy, I'm not going to go and audit that, but yeah, that's interesting. So what is going on here? We got Mav McNeely sitting inside the where's he at? Mav McNeely, where are you? Oh, check, yes, Kevin Doherty. Oh boy. Where are you, Mav? So he's like, okay. He's not too shabby, eh? Interesting. I don't know. I don't know what to make of him. But I think the accuracy is going to be an issue this week versus the rest. But he's playing good golf. So maybe we go to Mav and see what we can do. Maybe we go to Mav and see what we can do for like a top 20, maybe. Top 4. I think a top 40 is a solid number for him if we get a good number. He seems like the way to go. All right. CT Pan, just, yeah. I mean, holy cow. You cheering. We're going to just have to keep a list of pronunciations and we just have a pronunciation off. Okay. CT Pan. Whew. Top 20 is screaming my name here. If you take a look at what he's been up to, so CT, we had a WD at the RSM, so that's out the way, out the system at least for a little while. A T3 at the Mexico, off the tee, around the green, putting, just short game wizardry. Then at this venue, we've got 3 top 20s and 2 missed cuts in the last 5 starts. The 2 top 20s came in the most recent appearances. He did it on approach, and that's pretty much where he did the most of the damage. He putted lights out when he finished third. So that's good. I know. CT Pan seems healthy, though. If you at least take a look at what he got up to in whatchamacallit. I mean, he played very nicely. -6 today. He played with Tony Finau. Beat Tony's ass in round 4. After a slow start, he went 65, 67, 67 after going level pass. So he did all of his 14 under in the last 3 rounds. Right behind or tied with Justin Lauer. So that's interesting. We'll see what happens with him. I like the fact that he's played well in the past. I think he's a great option this week. Definitely going to throw a timestamp on the pan man. The pan handle. Can you get a handle on the pan? With CT. 2 hours 39. 2 hours, probably started speaking about him at 2:38, which is 120, 158. I love it. I love Cheng Sang Pan. CT. CT City. CT Pan. CT Pan. Alrighty. Like what CT's been up to the last little while. Love the course history. Let's do this. Definitely, definitely, definitely. CT's best attribute is upside. He shows up or he doesn't. I don't think you want to be exposing yourself to like a negative odds top 40. I think you want to be exposing yourself to a top 20 that's decent plus money because he could WD. You don't want to be laying too much on the table. He's showing his propensity to do that to us. Ryo Hisatsune, I feel like this is a better situation for him this week. I love this kind of a golf course setup for Hisatsune. I like it a lot. And I think after a little bit of a disappointing T48 at the Mexico, we can see what he can get up to. But he might just be one of these guys that since he's shown up, it's just like he doesn't want to have top-end finishes. Last 25 starts, he won the Kazoo Open in France, then finished 6th at the Zozo, which was very nice. 11th at the American, so I might be overreacting a bit, yeah, but he's been solid. Okay. I actually like him a lot better at this golf course than I did in Mexico, so we'll see if Spencer's back on him, but I think the main reason Spencer liked him was because he had a matchup against Mackenzie Hughes, who that was a complete crush of a matchup. I mean, Mackenzie Hughes played terribly. Okie dokie. Rio. It's a good movie, by the way, Rio. The parrots and stuff. Okay. We'll talk about Daniel Berger, because I've got some bitching to do about him for sure. Danny B's, so 161. So Daniel Berger obviously has finished 4th here the last 2 times he's played. He's since 2018 not finished outside the top 40 here. He's gained strokes putting in all 5 appearances. Berger, dude, sign me the hell up, Darbo. Yes, take a look at him. Let's put Berger above me. I think he's sneaky because we've got some weird results, but if there's a golf course that can see him bounce back, it's this one. Like he's done great stuff at this golf course, man. I bet him to win this tournament in 2022. My first article I ever wrote. Had a 5-shot lead going into the final round. Finished 4th. Times are tough. But it suits his game to a T. The wedges he's dialed in on, the long irons, whatever. But his driving accuracy off the tee, very good at this golf course. I love what he can do there. Like the distance from the average fairway, minus 122nd in this field is the opposite. So minus 150. It gives you like top 30 ranking there. That's good. Recent form is whatever. I mean, we don't really know what he's been up to lately. And I love the course history. The course history for Berger is great. Yeah. Who the hell knows? He's going to have a good week at some point. I don't think the Waste Management was like the best course for him in the whole wide world. I think this golf course suits him nicely. I don't know about a win here. You know, I mean, does he just show up and win? But I definitely think like a top 20 or a top 40. I mean, a top 40 seems very nice. He's done that the last 4 times he's played here. And he finished top 40 at the American and top 30 at the Waste Management. So until we see some real trending hard Berger, maybe a top 40 bet. But I think they're going to respect the course history too much this week. So we might not get a good number on him. We'll have to see. But it is enticing. We could see some really good DFS value if they don't give him a solid number. But they've given him like 7K values, 7K price tags the last little while. Davis Thompson, T24. What a loser. Shout out to Degenerate 75, who isn't feeling the best. I don't know what exact health issues he's had, but he's man down the last few days. So just hoping you feel better, buddy. If you ever land up listening to this 2 hours and 45 minutes in, hope you feel better, bud. I really do. We miss you and miss your enthusiasm. Because you go too hard at the paint. You know, you gotta take it easy every now and then, champ. Otherwise, you can find yourself overexerting the system there. Yeah, I can see him in the 9K range, especially with this course history. Who are we looking up now? Davis Thompson. The guy, we had a top 20 bet on him, and he finished T24. Another close call, yeah. So that was brutal for us. I'm not here to bitch about stuff. We had to make good decisions. So I don't know. Davis Thompson's upside is disastrously bad. What time are we speaking about Daniel Berger? Berger. Probably 2-3 minutes ago? 152. Okie dokie. Davis Thompson, I don't like at this golf course whatsoever. You can just ignore him. I don't understand this. If you think about Jake Knapp, don't you think about Minwoo Lee as a similar kind of a golfer? Not nearly the same ball striker on approach. Excuse me. But Minwoo, if you take a look at this guy, look at this. 6th at the Zozo and hasn't finished inside the top 20 since the start of the year. Has only played 3 times, not in any designated events, then decides not to play in Mexico, which is probably the best course fit for him outside of the Farmers. What on earth? No ways. He's different though, because Minwoo, Knapp has got he's got way better approach play. You can't be this shit on approach and expect to do well. Knapp was if the putting doesn't show up, look at this. He's lost strokes putting in the last 3 times he's played, doesn't finish inside the top 20. Knapp, I think this week, barely gained any strokes putting in the first 2 rounds and did it all ball striking. Ball striking is so much more reliable than this guy. And he's the chef. Let me cook. What? Top 21s? Your best effort in the last 3 tournaments because you're too cool to show up to Mexico? Where's the seriousness here? The Kazoo, the Cognizant Classic is not a golf course for Minwoo Lee. It puts an emphasis on approach play. It de-emphasizes distance off the tee. It's a complete contrast to where they've just come from in Mexico. Minwoo's not more skilled than Knapp. Knapp has got elite ball striking, Darbo. He's more short game, sure, but Knapp has had 2 top 5 finishes on the PGA Tour. He won today. Maybe we do a long-term, from this moment on, we can come up with an idea for Minwoo versus Jake Knapp. But, we might not even see them in the same tournaments because Knapp's going to be playing designated events and Minwoo is not. Because Minwoo is too cool to make it out to these tournaments that get him into these designated events. So I don't see it. The approach play is going to be very tough to deal with this week. I see Minwoo hitting a lot of golf balls in the water, but he's also played well at the places like Players, and he played well last year in T26, so maybe he thinks he can play nicely here. I don't know. This field seems like it's way more stacked than it was in 2023. I don't know. I'm assuming we'll get too much respect on Minwoo's lame anyway to get a good number on him. So I don't think he'll be bettable, in my opinion, for me. Everybody can bet him at their own discretion. Yeah. Also, Knapp finished T3 at the Farmers, Kaz. So that was good from him there. The Farmers Way ain't no KFT event. Minwoo Lee bet session started at 158. Let's talk Matthieu Fitzpatrick. Also, this golf course suits him so well, but what are we getting from him? A miscut at the Genesis, a 58th at Pebble, and then he finished 15th at the Waste Management. Ah, interesting stuff. I've never figured this guy out, ever. It's not looking good, like at all. He's all over the place. But this golf course suits his game. Oh, my tournament headers weren't shifted correctly. It was, yeah. Well, yeah. Neither was Min Woo's tournament headers shifted correctly. Should have been playing in Mexico, not in Florida. Anyway, Fitz, I think he's going to be way overpriced. He could be a good, like, I think people will like the fact that I don't know what to say about this guy. I don't know what to say about Fitz. What on earth is he doing, though? Like, that's the thing. It's like this guy just he refuses to play consistent golf. Refuses. Like, I can't just skip over this dude, even though I know what I'm going to go and see if I pull something up from him. Fitz. Also, Darba, I need to get some music in the background. Can you DM me the site you use? Please. Okay, here's Matt Fitzpatrick. The fact that someone changes their name like midlife is also just tilts me. It tilts me. Okie dokie. So maybe we bet Fitz like when he's kind of, but also look at this T2 after a T66. Missed the cut at the Genesis, couldn't putt. The approach play has been very bad. Off the tee has been pretty good. I don't know. I think I'm just out. I think I'm just out in general. Like, I don't know. I know Harbour Town's been great for him, but I think you can't be hitting your irons like this and losing a quarter of a stroke since the start of the year at a golf course like this. There's too much water involved. I think the off the tee numbers are generated because of distance and not accuracy. So I don't know. I don't know about this guy. We'll leave him alone. We'll leave Fitz alone and move on to Sepp. I mean, this is starting to get into the range. Like, I like Sepp Straka. I like Billy Horschel. Wouldn't it be hilarious if Carl Jan won this week after Tom and Marty's put 6.5K on him to win? Sungjae Im suits this golf course nicely, but he hasn't been playing good golf at all. I mean, look at this. Sungjae Im's broken right now. He's broken. He's gained strokes in one tournament. The reason he doesn't have any miscuts is because there is all these like Thanks, Darbo. Thanks for sending that link. He's been playing in all of these like non-cut events. No cut at Pebble. Made the cut at the Weights Management Phoenix Open, finished 66th. But he made the cut on the number. T44 at the Genesis. Like, it's just the approach plays off the boil. The off the tee game is the only thing that's kind of showing any sort of resiliency. The putter has also just, I don't know. And people are going to be looking at this course history with the T8 and the first, but I don't know about the approach play right now. We haven't seen him gain on approach since the American. No good. No good, Bob, for Sungjae. I mean, the guy's all the way down here. Sungjae Im in a field like this, being 52nd in the model, that's not good at all for him. I mean, Matthieu Fitzpatrick also, same situation. Same situation. Not good. Let's speak about some, like Doug Ghim played nicely. Wow. Wow, 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 wow. Doug Ghim. Last 3 starts, 13th, 12th, and 8th. Doug Ghim, folks, is trending. And I have a fun Doug Ghim Photoshop. accuracy. That suits this golf course so nicely. Ghim for a top 20 this week seems like a really solid play, doesn't it? What could go wrong? It seems like what? The last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So half of his last starts have been top 20. That's the way to bet Ghim this week. Hasn't finished inside the top 10, though. How on earth is that making any sense? The guy has just been rattling off top 20s. Take a look at Ghim. By God. Looks good, but he just doesn't like a top 10 finish, does he? Ghim, 28% of his starts have been top 20s, no top 10s in the last 12 months. That's the way to bet him. Top 20. That's the way to go. He does not like a top 10. All right, cool. I'm in. I mean, it looks delightful. Look at this. The iron play has been amazing. Spikily. Very nice stuff. Like he has one good round per tournament, it seems like, on approach, which is fine. That gets you into the top 20. It just doesn't get you into the top 10. And that's the thing. Look at this. He just doesn't have only one good round per tournament. Doesn't have multiple. He's too scared to go deep too often outside of TPC Twin Cities. And then that's just sandwiched between negative. Yeah, some guys just don't have it, man. And Ghim is one of them, but he's got the top 20s. So love a Ghim top 20 this week. 155 probably. So 175. Whatever. Love Ghim for a top 20. Love Ghim for a top 20. Saying this multiple times so I can remember it. Moving on down the board to Billy Horschel. Michael Kim. This guy. The driver seems off. I mean, the guy's fiddling with driver settings heading into tournaments. Like, how do we not have the driver settings figured out as a professional golfer? The approach play's been good. The rest of the stuff hasn't. Missed 2 cuts in the last 2 starts and 2 missed cuts at this venue. Billy Horschel, though, I'm going to keep going back to this guy. I'm waiting for him to redeem me. Take a look here. 14th, 18th at the Sony. Putted lights out, I guess. Wow. In his last 4 starts at the Honda, 16th, 42nd, 16th, 42nd. So we got a 16th coming up this week. Is that what's happening for Billy? That's probably what's happening for Billy. I'm going to take a quick peek at what Billy's been up to. It must be it's all putting. That's the sad thing. Yeah, we haven't gained on approach since the Sony, where he finished 18th. Man, we'll have to see. I like him though, a lot. I'll definitely be playing him in DFS. Okie dokie. Billy Horschel. Timestamp, Snoozeville. 178. Or did we do that already? Yeah, 178 seems good. 177. Let's do 177. I'm arguing about what time I'm doing a timestamp because that's the status of this podcast right now. It has been a busy week, friends, so the energy levels are depleted, but we are getting through it as best we can. I appreciate you, Dalba. You've been so clutch, dude. You've been keeping me in the zone, yeah. Okie dokie. Let's find a few more names and then kind of get this show finito. Tyler Duncan. Man, where's the approach play? Finished 3rd year last year. He likes this golf course. 3rd year last year, gained 1 million strokes off the tee and solid on the putting side of things. I don't know if that happens again. He hasn't been putting well at all. So we'll leave him alone. Bud Cauley. Who the hell asked for Bud Cauley earlier? It was DT in Phoenix. 65th at the Waste Management. Bud Cauley, folks. 12th year in 2019. He's made the cut here pretty much every single time until he had a WD in 18. So and the approach play at the waste management looked good. The putting, very bad. What does he do with the putter this week? I think he's a good option. Shane Lowry. A beast from 150 to 175. Has not been able to putt to save his life. But every time he's showed up to this golf course, he's pretty much gained strokes putting. Finished second, finished fifth. I feel like course history is going to be very popular for Shane Lowry, despite not having done diddly squat in a long time. Oh, you're driving. Where are you going, Darbo? Just got back from the cities of the cities, the Twin Cities. We're better to listen to. Oh, thanks, buddy. I appreciate you, man. Just talking a whole bunch of nonsense back here. So Matt Kuchar is typically one of my favorite guys to play at golf courses that makes sense for him to play at this week. He's not playing good golf right now, so we're done with him. KH Lee hasn't made a cut in 3 straight consecutive starts. We're down in the dumps here, folks. Someone I don't mind this week is Aaron Baddeley, though. I think he's sneaky. This golf course. The approach play has been scrappy, but the putting and scrambling around the green is where he gets his job done. And I think this week you can emphasize that. And I won't be surprised if he shows better performances from, I guess, the long irons are very bad, eh? Yeah, they're bad. But the scrambling is good. And I think you can scramble your face off at a golf course like this. You know, like that's like you can scramble and save par. Like the bogey avoidance is 22nd in the field. That seems like an Aaron Baddeley type situation for me. So I'll definitely be thinking for Bads and a top 40 for him. He's finished inside the top 40 the last 3 starts. But I know this golf course hasn't treated him well, but he might be playing better golf right now. Carson Young finished 8th, cashed the top 20 for us last week at the Mexico. I love the approach play because he's a very good long iron player. From 175 to 200, he's very, very good. He's even better from outside 200. He's not the best wedge player in the world, but we've seen some good play from him lately. Carson Young's profile has 17th and 8th in the last 4 starts. Finished 29th here last year. So we'll see what he gets up to. I don't know if this is like the perfect course fit for him, but it's good to see him playing better golf. Chris Gotterup had to withdraw. That's never good. Thorbjorn Olesen dropped the bag. I had him in 107 of my 150 lineups, and then he just decided to not play good golf over the weekend. I think I bet him in round 2, and the very first hole he hit in the water. Yuck. Peter Malnati is not a East Coast guy. He's a West Coast guy. So we are done with Peter Malnati. Here's Matthieu Pavon, just showing up way down the board. Obviously, not going to grade out well for models because we don't got anything on him. But, I mean, look at this recent form. By God. So that's the way to bet this dude is just, I think we bet him for top 10 and to win. We'll see what happens. I think we'll definitely be going with him, T-Dak. Thomas Dietrich let us down big time, let Darbo down. I don't know if this is a good place for Bramlett. Is this a good... Dietrich's very good with wedges. Not very good from 150 to 175. That's such an interesting dilemma. Interesting. Oh, yeah. All right. Who else here? I wonder if Cam Chamcats is like some... Maybe we can catch him in a matchup because he played well last week. He finished 24th at the Mexico. I guess he never even finished inside the top 10. Mark Hubbard had, he could have beat him. Ugh. Yeah, I think the Farmers was a perfect fit for Dietrich, man. Perfect fit for Dietrich. Chandler Phillips, what's he been up to? I mean, he's making cuts. This guy has made awful cuts this year. 6 stash. Totally agree with you. We'll see what he gets up to. Who I do like, and we were catching with some good form, is Andrew Novak. The boy's balling out. 2 top 8s in the last 2 starts. And he did that with losing strokes putting. It was tee to green dominance. Oh, I guess, wow, look at that around the green play. So whatever. We can leave the short game alone there. It's been good. The approach play has been great from Novak. Wow. Phillips was the 10th best scorer on DK last week with a T24. Wow, that's impressive. Dude, Rafael Campos, I had him in a showdown lineup when he made the hole-in-one. Yeah, that was good too. Anyway, I also had so much Campos in the 150 lineups. I love Chan Kim. I don't know about this golf course for him. 8th at the Mexico. We had him for a top 20. That was good. He's not necessarily the longest guy in the world. His bogey avoidance is very, very bad. He was right in the mix and then made a double on hole 9. Ay caramba. This golf course screams to me like a Zach Johnson golf course too, which he's finished 12th and 8th at in the last 3 starts. So that seems like a place to go back to him on. Ben Silverman, short game wizard, 13th at Mexico, lost 5 strokes on approach. Wow. I think we saw him on a hole 9 hit one of the worst snap hooks I've ever seen with the iron into the water. That was not good. Oh boy, we are down in the dump share. These guys are not going to potentially. Alexander Bjork intrigues me. In fact, he's not going to model out well. Missed the cut at the Mexico because he lost off the tee, lost on approach. He's typically a very good approach player. I don't know if that course suited his long iron play versus just like the intermediate stuff that we'll see from him this week. And off the tee, he doesn't have tons of distance either. So I think I like him a lot more at a golf course like this than I do Mexico. So I like Bjork. Maybe we favorite a few guys, yeah. Ryan Fox has been disappointing on the PGA Tour, just hasn't done it. Oh, we got Rasmus Højgaard, Nikolai's brother, showing up in the house, in the hizzy. Jonathan Vegas. We're just rattling off names here that I don't really care about. Always will be playing Toasty. He was in 15% of my 150 lineups and missed the cut by 1 stroke because he decided to 3-putt on the second last screen of the tournament. Shout out to Toasty. Okay. I think that's going to be it from me. We'll do the rest. Yeah, and we got to the bottom here. So, hallelujah. That was a grind. Apologies for not necessarily putting out the best information out there this week. But it is what it is. We got to do it every now and then and dig deep. I'm also like getting a snotty nose. I don't know. I might be getting sick. I need to figure my stuff out. Toasty killed my lineups, dude. You know who also killed my lineups, Darbo? Was Tom Whitney. The guy was missing 2-foot putts. He missed a 2-foot putt. Oh, thanks, Face. Appreciate that. We gave it a go. 3 hours is a good go. You know, I wasn't feeling the best, but we managed to get through it. Let's kind of just take a quick summary look. I love Eric Cole for a top 20. Tom Hoge, top 20. Potentially a Tom Kim outright. I like, JT Poston for a top 10. Stephan Jaeger for a top 20. Russell Henley. I think we might just put like 2 units on Russell Henley for a top 20. Yeah, Whitney was so disappointing. That's it. I think I really like the top of the model the most. Then it kind of, once we get out of the top 10 of my model, top 11, top 10, things go south for us. It gets sneaky interesting. We'll do Benny on top 5, like we saw. Bezzy top 40. And then go from there. We never even spoke about Sam Ryder, who's been playing very bad. So that's not a lot to speak about, despite 2 top 10 finishes at this golf course. He likes this golf course, doesn't he? Might be a sneaky DFS player. I don't like him that much for a wow. He's got some solid form there for him at this golf course. And then Mav McNeely's been playing some interesting golf lately too. But anyway, that's going to be it for me. Daniel Berger will monitor. Looking forward to seeing these odds drop. Going to get some shut-eye before they come out early in the morning. And we'll have ourselves a good week. So the Rotoballer PGA show is tomorrow at 9:30 Eastern. And that's right after Preferred Lines, which you should go check out. Me and Joe Idoni both hit Jake Knapp for the Rotoballer squad this week, so that was good. Then we also will have Back Nine Bets on Tuesday. And I plan these things out in advance, and I'll be having Joe Idoni on the show for Hacking in Hollywood on Wednesday. So we'll have the 2 Jake Napsters on the pod on Wednesday, kind of just hashing it out. He hasn't sent me his show yet, so we'll have to figure out what show that's going to be. I might have to binge a few things, but I might just tell him shows that I've watched too. We will see. But times are good over here on Back Nine Bets, and I'll be hold times for me. We got the announcement on 1 Eastern on Fantasy Sports Radio on Sirius XM for the research article, Fantasy Sports Writer of the Year nominations with the boys from the NFL and MLB. And then we've got the Golf Writer of the Year award as well with Alex Blickel and the other guy that is on Twitter but just retweets a whole bunch of stuff. Can't remember his name. Something with a G. Good stuff. His content is amazing. So anyway, we're going to see what happens. Good week. Exciting week. We'll catch you guys tomorrow night on the Rotoballer PGA show. If you are not part of the premium side, use code NEW for 30% off on our premium stuff at Rotoballer. Use code MANIAC over at Rotoballer for 10% off if you want to do that and support me more. But use code MANIAC as well at Bet the Number. Get yourself $5 off for the month. Get yourself $50 off for the year. And you get yourself a free week trial. So make sure you do that over here at Bet the Number. And we'll catch you guys tomorrow night. We grounded out. We did it. Darbo, sleep tight. Have a good night. And we'll catch you guys tomorrow.